All right. It is late night. We're doing late night stream tonight, obviously. West Coast games are hard to keep track of sometimes, but you know, we're here. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with this one. I'm a little bit annoyed with how the Bulls, for the most part, played this game. They did stay in it, so I'll give them that credit. But there was a lot tonight where I was just like, wow, like this is not what we need from some guys. And overall, just the team. Thought overall the defensive level was pretty poor for most of the game. And, you know, again, I don't expect good defense, but tonight was unacceptable for some moments. The biggest thing for me, and I don't know what you guys are going to think about this, but, like, Vooch had 20-something points tonight, right? Like, what do you have tonight? Like, I don't know about y'all, but, like, this to me, yeah, he had 24 tonight. I'm just, like, maybe I'm just being very, very hypercritical of Vooch, but, like, this to me felt like the least effective 24 points that I've ever seen. And he was getting destroyed by Nick Richards on the glass tonight, man. It was just like, hey, get a damn rebound, please. Like, people, come on. Suns got 13 offensive rebounds. They had 26 second chance points. Like, Jesus, man. This is just unacceptable level of effort for the Bulls on the glass. Pretty much all game. And then I don't want to just only call out Vooch, because, like, obviously a lot of the other players need to just do better and actually just rebound. But, like, there are just some moments, man, where I'm like, Vooch, like, come on, man. I'm not asking for a lot, and you're out here, and I feel like you can't box out a guy, and your guy may not get the rebound, but just the fact that he's affecting you enough, it takes you out of the rebounding spot, and you know someone else gets the offensive rebound, and we saw the Phoenix Suns get like 9 of those shots where it's just like, oh, long shot, long rebound, and the player that gets the ball just shoots the 3-point shot immediately, and it just goes in. So that's sort of stuff to me that's like unacceptable tonight, and it's pretty frustrating overall. Look at that. I didn't expect a win tonight. I mean, the Suns are a pretty bad team, but I didn't expect a win, and I was pretty upset with how some things were being played tonight. So overall, the tank standings look better tonight because the Spurs won, and so they have a better overall win percentage currently. They have not played the same amount of games as us, though, so there's that. The Heat somehow lost that game. I don't think K. Cunningham. So we'll keep track of those standings, but got a couple things to talk about tonight. Kobe extended his 20 points per game streak, which is good to see. As always, you know, with the younger players, it's good to see this from the young guys like Kobe, but we also, just like how we've been saying with Giddey and all the other young players, like, if you go on a little bit of a run, can you sustain it? He's sustained it so far, so that's really good to see. So keep going, Kobe. Giddey returned tonight. I thought he looked pretty solid. Kind of off to a little bit of a slow start, but obviously it's the first game back for him. Rebounding was obviously pretty good. Unfortunately, though, just in general, the entire team didn't rebound effectively enough tonight, which is pretty disappointing. We're gonna have to start talking about Montes Buzelis. Like, he might really be hitting this rookie wall that we've been kind of talking about a little bit recently, because it's been rough for him. I'm starting to really recognize it. He had that flush on the alley-oop dunk from Trey Jones in transition, which was awesome to see. I was shocked he made it. I thought the pass was just a little bit low, and he adjusted and made it and got fouled. So props to him for making that, but he just clearly doesn't look as springy as he was earlier in the season. So we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward. It's been a little bit disappointing to kind of see his effort recently, which he might just be rookie wall, or, you know, I don't know if he's kind of battling an injury or something like that, but that is just something just to keep an eye on. So I've been kind of saying, like, hey, it's all right if he goes down to like 24 minutes or 25 minutes. So this is fine tonight. I'm not too upset by this from Billy if he is kind of getting fatigued. But there are definitely some decisions by Billy. I was just like, well, I don't know about that one, Billy, but you know, it worked out. I guess you got a little bit of a comeback here. So appreciate all tuning into the late night stream. It is late. It's 11:30 for me, so stick with me. I am tired, but I appreciate y'all tuning in for a late night stream as the West Coast trip continues on here. And I missed the last stream, so I appreciate it, y'all. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Helps me out a lot. Also, I did drop a video today, so if you have not seen the video today, I'm gonna go ahead and bring that up for you and post it in the chat. Talked about today the Bulls' ability to re-sign both Giddey and Jones, as they're both the upcoming free agents for the Bulls, and I did a full Google spreadsheet salary cap breakdown for the video. So I think it's a pretty interesting video if you're interested in like how the Bulls can like re-sign both of them, and you know, stay under the luxury tax, because that is a thing with the Chicago Bulls, as will never be a team in the luxury tax as long as Reinsdorf exists. So check out that video if you haven't already. That's been posted today. Link is in the chat. And yeah, we're gonna start out here on the stream. All right, GG, at least they made it kind of close. Yeah, I appreciate the effort, especially kind of in the second half. They were down by 21. They cut into it. Obviously, then at the end of the game, they were, you know, kind of making like a fake comeback. But Suns were pretty much in control of this entire game. I mean, you could just look at the game chart. It's just like, yeah, the Suns had this one in the bag pretty much. But I appreciate you not letting this just like be like an absolute blowout and you lose by 30. So that's a good thing. No defense was played today. Unfortunately, Kenny and Booker are too good for that to be the case. Yeah, I mean, look, the Suns team has had its struggles this season. Injuries have been a problem, but they've also just been bad. They've had some serious issues trying to be a good defensive team. But at the end of the day, when you have a Hall of Fame scorer in Kevin Durant and another Hall of Fame scorer, Devin Booker, out there, even without Bradley Beal, you're gonna get wrecked if you don't play defense. And the Bulls just were like, man, we're just gonna play Ole defense tonight. We're not gonna try. Which was very disappointing to see. So a little upset by that. Thought everyone could have been better defensively tonight. Not even just point of attack defense, but also the rotations tonight. It seemed off from everybody. So, you know, we got a game tomorrow, so you got a chance to redeem yourself tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be easier tomorrow, but, you know, you got a chance to redeem yourself. And the Kings did play tonight, but they did win against the Cavs. So maybe you get a tired Kings team, but you played a lot of minutes today. They made so many noise decisions that game. Like, we could pretty clearly see the lineups with eyes, but also if you look post All-Star, that Trey works best with Giddey to cover his lateral footstep weakness. In fact, Giddey is the best with Zach, Trey, and Herter, which he should have overlapped those minutes in the first half. Not Kobe, who plays better with Vooch and Terry. So, I mean, I thought the initial, like, because Giddey came off the bench today, which I think is the right decision for him coming back, but I thought the initial sub was fine. He took out Kobe, right, and he played Giddey with Trey Jones, with Kevin Herter, for a decent chunk of like the first and third quarter. So I thought that rotation was fine. My only thing then is just he then decided in the second unit that he's gonna run out there Patrick Williams and Dylan Terry with Kobe, and it was just like, wow, there is just not enough. There's not enough playmaking with this group. You need to like have Trey Jones out there or something. And that group's had a little bit of its struggles. I do agree that Zach Collins probably should have played more with the starting unit today. Maybe that's also with Giddey in there, but I was a little bit confused by Billy's rotations tonight. It's not like the biggest thing in the world, but I will agree that some of the matching was a little bit off, especially in the second unit. So not sure if they need to go back to just like Giddey playing a little bit more in the second units. I know he came off the bench today, so it's a little bit awkward, but you know, I'm not gonna freak out about it too much with it being a return back game for Giddey. So hopefully this isn't gonna be a problem in Sacramento, but I'll be definitely watching. Third quarter, and when there was 34 seconds, and Billy and the ball fed to Kobe, who took it up so slowly. It took 20 seconds for Suns to shoot. Giddey should have rushed it for the shots and then also get the last possession. Yeah, I'll have to relook at that. I thought Trey Jones had the ball, but I'll have to relook at that. Kobe's half-court slow person you turn to not behind or turnover. So look, I think Kobe, honestly, like the first half was rough. Like I won't lie, he couldn't get to the basket. Nick Richards seemed to have his number on a lot of attempts there. I think in that second half, though, he did a really good job. He kind of figured things out. He played faster, so I'll give him that. I will say in the first half, he was a little bit slow. I thought in the first half, especially in the first quarter, the Bulls had like 4-on-2 fast break opportunities, and Kobe was part of the issue where he didn't push the ball up when he's like running, but he didn't push the ball up when he should, and it kind of slowed down the Bulls for some of those opportunities. I think in the second half, though, he did a good job. He got to the basket. He was able to finish through contact, and he played faster. So I'm going to give him that. So I'm just I'll say that for Kobe. And again, he's he's doing what we're asking of him, right? Like, we're not really expecting anything much else from him besides, hey, go score consistently, and he's doing that right now. So I'm not gonna be as hypercritical when you're able to get to like the 20-point mark on like 50% shooting. I will say the first half was not great, but he did a good job in the second half, and kind of, you know, was the only reason why the Bulls had a chance in that third quarter to kind of just stay in it. So I'm gonna pass on the, you know, late kind of decision third quarter stuff. You know, stuff happens. It's one possession, but I will say the first step could have been better from him. Which looks like he's lost a step, not gonna lie. Yeah, I know he's dealing with this calf issue, man, but God, he looks so slow, and he just, like, he already can't jump, and like, he looks like he's somehow not jumping as high, and I'm just like, God, bro, I don't know what to do with you. So again, he had 24 tonight on 10 of 17 shooting, so it's like I shouldn't be as critical, but like, it just felt like an ineffective 24 tonight from him for whatever reason, and it probably was just because defensively he was so lost against Nick Richards, and then he just kept giving up all these rebounds tonight that it's like, oh, Nick Richards, like, you know, didn't get every offensive rebound in the book, but like, it's because Vooch wasn't boxing him out properly that it caused a problem for the Bulls to get the rebound, and so there's a tap back, and, you know, other guys get the offensive rebound instead, and they get wide open looks off of it. So I don't know, maybe I'm just hating on him too much, but tonight really it felt like an ineffective 24 from him, and it was efficient 24. I mean, this was like this is what we were seeing from Vooch earlier in the season in terms of his scoring, but the defensive level and then the rebounding effort just like it just kind of felt like that just took away all of his scoring tonight. And he got off to a rough start too, so I don't know. It's just odd game for Vooch tonight. Zach is playing better and didn't close than Vooch. Yeah, I was a little bit shocked to see that as well, that they didn't close to Zach Collins, but, you know, I'm not Billy Donovan at the end of the day. I would like to trade Patrick Williams for Ryan Dunn. Veteran comparison for Dunn, the Matrix, Sean Marriott. I know it won't happen or can't because the past contract, but guy can dream. Oh, bro. Christopher, if I could pull that trade off right now, I would do it. I would drive Patrick Williams to the airport myself. I would gladly trade Patrick Williams for Ryan Dunn. Not going to happen, obviously. The Suns seem they've got a good one, but... yeah, the Patrick Williams contract is looking worse and worse every single time, man. Booz also fits better besides Gay as he cuts in the pace. Again, Billy put Booz in a position to look worse. I do think that Billy is taking Boozelis out of like on-ball opportunities a little bit more recently, and I can't tell if that's just like Boozelis kind of just like he's seeing like, oh, Boozelis is just very fatigued, and the rookie wall is really hitting him right now. Or Billy's just flat out messing up with him. So I'll be continue to watch, because I won't lie, Boozelis has had you know some rough games. He had a nice game against Utah, but he's had an overall kind of rough stretch here. So not sure if that's just Billy's doing, or if it's just, you know, Boozelis is just not, you know, up to, you know, not as springy and doesn't have as much energy in him. So we'll keep an eye on it. I do agree that you need to probably try to play Boozelis and Giddey in like a second unit lineup maybe, but you also have to make sure then like you have to match it up correctly, and Trey Jones right now is starting, so it kind of puts like this weird kind of mix out on the floor of how you're going to run your rotation. So yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work out, because I know Giddey's going to go back into the starting lineup maybe even tomorrow, but how do you then kind of manage the rotation? Like Kevin Huerter's probably gonna go back to the bench, which he should be, and then I don't know then. Like, it's gonna be odd. So I'll definitely keep an eye on it, because Boozelis clearly has been like his role has started to like decrease, and I can't tell if it's just like he's not as aggressive, or if it's just he's having some fatigue issues or rookie wall hit. But yeah, I mean, right now he also guard Kevin Durant today, so. We need Vooch to be the big man when he's out on the floor, need him to establish big man presence. Look to me like he was scoring from the paint since coming back. Yeah, and it's honestly because like, it seems like he doesn't jump high in the first place, but he seems like he can't even jump as high as before. So it might honestly just be the calf, but that's a big problem then. Like, no one's gonna want to trade for him at this point. So yeah, it's not good, honestly. I'm gonna be very concerned with that moving forward. And like, look, I've been already adamant that I think Vooch's rebounding is overrated, because it's like you're on a team that doesn't really have much rebounding in the first place. You're the only big guy out there on the floor a lot of the time, so it's like, yeah, you should be getting like double-digit rebounds if you're playing 30+ minutes a night. So I've been kind of adamant, like, there's a big difference between what Andre Drummond does and then what Vooch does. Like, I think everyone can understand that, but like, people act as if Vooch is like gobbling up boards like Andre Drummond sometimes, and I'm like, no, he isn't. Like, he plays 30+ minutes a night, therefore, like, he should be getting 10+ rebounds on this team. This team's small as hell. But if his already lack of rebounding ability is taking another hit for him, I'm just like, bro, what are teams gonna want from him? Like, no one's gonna want to trade for him. No one's gonna want to pay him. No one's gonna want to play him. You know, the 24 points tonight, like, that's the one thing he can still do if he's hitting his 3-point shot. But yeah, like, he just doesn't seem to be willing to go inside as much right now. I was looking at this earlier. Like, I brought this up after you missed like a post hook earlier today. I was just like, well, I mean, what's this like post up looking right now? And like, this is lower than it was before. It's still like an overall pretty solid number, but like, this is clearly lower than it was from the start of the season in terms of points per possession per post up. So yeah, I'm definitely not exactly thrilled with how he's looked since coming back, and I'm just hoping it's just a calf issue and like he's just not 100%. But if this is just a new Vooch, man, because injuries, you know, late in your career, like, it might just be who you are. Like, that's a problem, and I'm not really here for it. I don't want to see that, because I want to get him off the team, but I mean, no one's gonna trade for him right now. February was a pretty awful month. He shot 44% from the field as a big man. That's unacceptable. Granted, he only played 8 games. And 34% from 3-point range, which is not good. That's after a month of December where he shot 26.8% from 3. So, month of March, he's shooting better from 3-point range to start. It's been 5 games, so I guess it's a good sign overall. But the rebounding's down, scoring's down overall. Granted, less minutes, but it's overall just down. So, not happy. I hope it, you know, figures itself out, I guess, which I don't have faith in. I mean, decent minutes, it's also it's pretty clear split of who plays better with him. Billy just seems to ignore it. I do think tonight again was hard because Giddey's coming back, and it's like, okay, we gotta adjust the rotations. He's coming off the bench, etc. And so I'm gonna give him a little bit. I'm gonna give him a little bit of like slack there, but I do agree. There's definitely chances to make a better overall 5-man units out there tonight. Because around sorry when Billy probably put the Trey, Herter, Zach, Giddey lineup, that is the one time Giddey and Kobe are plus together. Makes sense. I mean, yeah, you have Trey Jones out there who can guard better on the perimeter, and then Zach Collins is a better interior defender. Herter's your shooter, and yeah, Giddey and Kobe are your ball handlers. So yeah, I get it. You know, it's just I do think there is a lot to manage by Donovan. So again, when Giddey gets back into the starting lineup, if this continues, I'll be very pissed off about it. Where the lineups clearly are not what they should be. The combos are off. But you know, Giddey came back tonight. He's off the bench. It's kind of like, you know, hard kind of figure things out. I'm not going to be too critical, but I am going to be critical of it. Donovan definitely needs to be better about things. When you get a chance, can you look at the turnover by Peel at 113? Because I swear to God, he turned it over by himself, but I might have missed someone pressuring him. 113 in the first quarter, Viper Strike. First quarter? Okay. Was this the post up that he tried to do that just was like really bad? Yeah, it was. Okay. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Let's look at this. So, I mean, look, Pat has not really come back and done anything spectacular. He's had, some games he's hit a couple threes, one wide open, and he's had, he had a couple moments of driving to the basket today, which is good. But missed a lot of shots overall at the rim, which is always a problem still. He did like the Buzelis move, like kind of like the the swipe, the overhand move on the dribble, and then he missed the layup off of it. This play here, it's an offensive rebound by the Bulls. He then tries to post up Royce O'Neal. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if O'Neal really got contact on the ball here, but he definitely was pressuring Pat. I mean, we'll look at it one more time here and just quick in real time here. Like, I do think that he did kind of swipe at Pat, but I don't know if he got contact on the ball, and honestly, this might just be all on Pat, honestly. So yeah, either way, this is an unacceptable turnover in the first place. Like, even if, like, let's say O'Neal got a hand on the ball there, like, Pat's gotta be better at the dribble. People want to tell him, like, people talk about, like, oh, he's a guy that, like, can, point guard skills and everything, and it's just like, well, if people want him to post up and drive to the basket more, then you can't do stuff like this. And unfortunately for you, because you have no prior historical record of you being able to drive to the basket consistently and finishing through contact and not turning the ball over, this sort of stuff is unacceptable. So, if a great scorer happens to turn the ball over there, it's like, okay, it's one thing, it's bad turnover, but, they're a great scorer. If it's Patrick Williams trying to make something out of basically nothing here, and making a bad decision, it's like, it's a pretty bad look. It, like, shows that you still haven't improved, one, or you're just not aware of your ability. So, yeah, not thrilled with that turnover either. I did see that, but I thought O'Neal, at least, I thought got a hand on the ball there, which I don't know. I'm definitely a little bit pissed off at how Pat's been playing, which, God, man, this contract's just gonna haunt us from here on out. Granted, the money is not like our money moving forward after next season. Like, there's so much money coming off the books, which is great, but the major concern, honestly, is just Pat's contract is just gonna eat into something else, and it's just like, God damn it, like, why couldn't we have gotten him for cheaper and just played our restricted free agency correctly? Which I was wrong about that. I thought the Bulls did a good job initially with it, but clearly I was wrong. 5-man lineup there, positive since All-Star. The team is in trouble, and the best option to defend KD in the fourth is KD, who was put on out to check how much KD scored. I mean, KD in the fourth, like, barely, like, he played like 5 minutes, I think, or 6 minutes, and like KD didn't, I don't know if he took a shot in that fourth, honestly. So yeah, I mean, good job by KD there. I also think the Suns were kind of being stupid. It was the Booker show, so I'm not going to be like, oh, KD did an amazing job, but. Yeah, I mean, he was guarding him all right. That's not to take away anything from, like, what Buzelis and Phillips and Patrick Williams did. Like, I think Pat kind of got cooked tonight. Phillips had, like, okay moments. I mean, at the end of the day, it's sometimes KD's just KD, and it's just like, hey, good contest. He didn't foul him. KD's just KD at the end of the day. I think Buzelis kind of got a little bit schooled early. But there was definitely a good job tonight by the Suns to seek out mismatches for Kevin Durant. And it wasn't even like he was sometimes even ball handling and seek out the mismatches. Like, they were like bringing him off some down screens and just getting a mismatch on the perimeter. And it was really messing up everyone's just kind of like timings of just like, okay, we need to play the pick and roll in this sort of spot. But then if you slip the screen, it's like, oh crap, we should have switched. And it's like, oh, mismatch all of a sudden. And KD is just too good. So Durant was destroying us in that first quarter, just all over the place. Like, he took 9 shots and made 4, but it just was like he was getting anything he wanted. And then the second quarter also came around and he hit some shots. It's just like, God, man, like, what do you do? Yeah, so at the end, that lineup at the end where, like, they took out Phillips, like, Phillips was in and then, like, they took him out. Where they put Giddey on him, like, hey, yeah, good job. You were trapping him, though, to make sure he didn't get the shot at the end of the day. And Booker was on fire. So, yeah, obviously, you're just going to run through everything through Booker at the end. So, yeah, not great. Defensive level was awful from everybody. I think even, like, if as much as I want to say, like, hey, Giddey did a good job against Durant, like, Giddey also tonight was pretty awful in many other defensive situations. So, that's not to single out him. That's to single out everybody. Like, You know, even Trey Jones, I think, is a good defender, and he had many moments tonight where I'm just like, you didn't fight over that screen hard enough. Like, you got to be better. So yeah, I think everyone was just awful tonight defensively. So, again, don't expect anything great defensively from this team, but when you give up 26 second chance points, which is part of defense, and the Suns, they shot 6 of 20 from the 3-point line that first half, and I'm just like, Jesus, like I'm shocked that the Suns only shot 6 of 20. There are so many wide open looks from 3-point range, and it's because the initial line of defense was just so bad. And the rotations were very clearly all over the place today. They were not in sync. And the Suns got wide open looks, and they were just happy to miss it. And then, of course, they hit 6 threes in the third quarter because the defense is bad. So yeah, not great overall tonight. Just and even just looking at the game flow, it's just like, yep, this is pretty awful today. Pretty much from the start. So again, good job not making this like a 30-point blowout win for the Suns. But it's just so frustrating when it's just like, guys, like, you gotta at least do something right. And you were turning the ball over the entire time in that first half. I think the Bulls only ended with 11 turnovers. No, it was 13. Okay. But like, they had 9 turnovers in that first half, which is dreadful. Suns had 17 points off those turnovers in the first half. The Suns had 21 assists in the first half. And then in the second half, all these second chance points opportunities just started piling up on the Bulls. And it's just like, oh my God. So you clean up the turnovers, and then suddenly the second chance points come in, and then they're starting to hit the 3-point shot, and it's just like, you shot yourself way too much in the foot tonight. I will say this, the Suns' length, and Viper Strike, you know, he was tweeting about this during the game, like, the Suns' length was definitely bothering the Bulls tonight, but at the same time, the Bulls just were continuously making poor decisions, where it's just like, they shot themselves in the foot when it's just like, that's not what you need to do right now. Like, you can't, like, Dalen Terry, and like, he got 2 steals, but then he automatically had 2 turnovers off of that, off those steals, right? Like, those little things are where it's like, that's not the Suns being, you know, having great length and affecting you with their length. That's just you being stupid. Kevin Huerter had a turnover where he's like doing an underhand pass to Vooch that went over his head. Like, that's not anything with the Suns' length. That's just you being stupid. And there's too many moments of that early on, and then later in the game, it's like, oh, it's not the turnovers, but now you're giving up offensive rebounds and you can't defend the 3-point line. So, like, I'm fine if it's just like, look, the Suns are on fire, you can't stop them. Like, okay, that's one thing. But you shooting yourselves in the foot and like having turnovers that's not because of the Suns' length, that's unacceptable. And obviously the defensive level wasn't there, so you can't. There's nothing to really even point to where it's like, yeah, good effort tonight, guys. The only reason why you stayed in it is because the Suns' defense started to take a dip in that second half, and you shot 54% from the field and 40% from 3. So, you stayed in it. Good job. But I really think this was a pretty crappy game overall, and I'm just, you know, again, I'm expecting losses with this squad, and I don't want to make it like, oh my God, like, you're freaking out over a loss by a bad team, but there has been moments recently with this squad where it's like, okay, you're playing the way that I appreciate you playing. And I think on offense, even with all the turnover struggles tonight, like, there was some of those moments tonight where it was like, good ball movement, you're playing fast in transition, and you're finding the open shooters, and guys are knocking some shots down, which is great. You know, the interior attack was still overall okay tonight. It was better in the second half, which I do think the Suns' defense was a little bit poorer in the second half, but it's like, that's nice. I do think that there were some pretty bad moments, especially in that first quarter where the offense wasn't really clicking, but we did see some of that. But it's also more recently where we've seen the defense. The Bulls kind of have been like sneakily like a pretty okay defensive team recently. And I'm like, well, where's that? Like, I'm not expecting you to be amazing, right? I'm not expecting you to be a top 10 defensive team, which I think after, I don't remember what game it was, but I think like before the Rockets game, like they were sneakily like the 9th best rated defense like the past 10 games. And it's just like, okay, well, you've shown me that you can at least be like okay defensively. And again, I'm not expecting you to be amazing. I understand that there's still a lack of overall defense on this team, but if you're gonna show me some games where it's like the younger players are stepping up and like they're really taking a challenge to some of these guys, and you know they're making the opposing team really have to work, at the end of the day, the opposing team just has, stars to kind of make shots at and stuff. But I'm also just starting to wonder, like, was that just kind of like a mirage of like, hey, you're really playing some bad teams recently? Like Miami lost another game tonight. Like, I don't know how many games in a row this is for Miami, but they look awful. And, a lot of people were celebrating that one. It's like, oh my God, see, like we did a great job defending Miami. It's just like, they may just be really bad. You face the Pacers team without Tyrese Halliburton. And the Rockets are not like, everyone's going to talk about that game. It's like, the Rockets are not a good scoring team. They win through defense. Like, that's their whole MO. Like, they're not going to go out and like drain 23s on you. So, it's just kind of just like, it's a measurement of like where we're at. And I do think that this West Coast trip is going to be a good overall kind of litmus test of it. I was just kind of, again, I was just expecting better effort, honestly, because Billy has been kind of like, preaching like, hey, we've been coming together as a team and we're giving overall better effort as a team and everything. I'm like, okay, so if that is the case, then are we building like a solid defensive foundation so that we can just like really only have to focus on offense moving forward? But it doesn't really seem like that's the case. Like, it seems like that we just kind of have these ebbs and flows of like, hey, we're facing a pretty crap team tonight and our defense looks all right. And then, a Phoenix Suns team, which they've had their struggles overall, but they had 2 Hall of Famer scorers and they just kill us tonight. So, yeah, it's stuff like this where I'm just like, okay, I think we need to kind of step back a little bit in terms of like, oh, this Bulls team is going to make a run for the play-in spots. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, yeah, we're tied with Miami now, so we're tied for 9th place, but this isn't really something we should be like overall celebrating. I want to point out, like, this isn't just like, oh, hey, like we're taking steps forward, which I wanted to kind of see like where we're at with it. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed overall tonight. But game tomorrow. We'll have time to look at it tomorrow. What's up with the Cavs? Just their 3rd loss and doing against the Magic Kings is nasty work. Yeah, I mean, a 16-game losing streak to a 3-game losing streak is really weird. Garland didn't play tonight, so I don't know if that was really important. And the weird thing is, though, is that the Kings didn't have Sabonis or Levine. So I don't know what honestly is going on with the Cavs. They just suddenly are just like, yeah, we're gonna be bad. They're fine though in terms of overall standings. Like they're gonna be fine. Like they don't have to really even worry. So I think they'll be okay. But yeah, it's been definitely interesting to look at. I don't know, maybe some fatigue's catching up to them as well. Like we are kind of hitting that point in the season, but yeah, they I hope it's not going to turn to like a 6-game losing streak or something like that, which it could. But they're starting to rest some guys, try to be cautious, and so I don't know if it's like messing up all their rhythms and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's been odd because you go on a 16-game winning streak to a 3-game losing streak now. It's very odd. And then so it's Giddey coming off the bench from injury, and then I think Giddey coming in for Kobe, like in the first rotation spot, was fine. It's just like after that was just a little bit weird about it. Kobe did well today. They started slow too, but he for sure turned up. Like Kobe, like in that first quarter, I thought Kobe was kind of messing up on a few things. Like again, I think transition opportunities, he messed a few up. But I think he recovered in the third, which was good. And again, he's this is kind of like the whole thing of Kobe, where it's like, well, can you get to 20 points per game consistently? And he's doing it. So props to him. That's all I really have to say. It's just like, good job. You're proving me wrong. You've proven a lot of other people wrong recently. Obviously, it's just for now, but continue doing it. You're doing a good job for now. Kobe last few I'm okay with. This use of Kobe to me is best in those closing few minutes. Yeah, I do think that Kobe is probably your better half court option right now. Giddey clearly is better in transition. And Kobe, I mean, Kobe can be effective in transition, but there definitely are moments where he clearly isn't making the right decision. So, use him as your half court guy, and I think that's fine. He's done a really decent job. Continuously getting to the basket, and like he's putting up these games where it's like he's not really shooting the 3 ball like that great. Like he's shooting like 30% from 3 in these 10 games, and like I guess now a little bit better after tonight. But like it's not a reliant of like, oh, he's hit 7 threes in this game. It's like, oh, see, like he's just on one of those runs. Like this has been a very good like overall showing from Kobe, where it's like, hey, I can get to 20 by not draining a bunch of threes, and be consistent with it, which is good. Like that's a good sign. So just like how I've said with Giddey, I'm like, hey, you need to go out and consistently show this, right? And you know, a lot of people are like bringing up the whole like, oh, just be like, is this like one of those things where everyone's like, oh, it's against bad teams though, so like, are we gonna treat Kobe like Giddy? It's like, oh, this is against bad teams. And yeah, we are. Like in this chat specifically, like I'm questioning if Giddy can go and do this against the Boston Celtics and Oklahoma City Thunder and other great teams. And same thing with Kobe. Like I'm also questioning, like, hey, good job recently. You've done a really good job recently of scoring consistently. But we've also only had one win over a 500 team recently, and you know, we faced a lot of teams under 500 recently. So good job. Like you're doing your job against these bad teams, but I need you to go and consistently score against you know, some of the big contenders. And you did against the Rockets, so that's one step, obviously, but we need to continue doing that. So I'm hoping these guys can continue doing it, but it's been, you know, good sign. But yeah, I mean, either way though, I'm still just like, well, you gotta show it to me more. You can't just stop now, right? Who's get like first 6 points to the Suns to start the game? Yeah. Bro, Nick Richards tonight was looking like Wilt Chamberlain at moments. Like Nick Richards, when he would get the roll pass, he would just like glide in and just kind of like do the scoop layup tonight. I'm just like, bro, like, come on, Vooch. Like, again, Vooch, I'm not expecting great defense from you, but you can't just let a center make themselves look like Wilt Chamberlain against you, where you're just kind of like gliding in and just like doing little scoop layup shots, and you're not offering any sort of resistance. Like that to me was where like at that moment, like the second quarter, when the Suns are just like doing that constantly, I'm just like, bro, like, come on, Vooch. Like I need something. And yes, it's not like the perimeter defense was great, just like, and that's the reason why the pick and rolls was set up well, but you gotta offer something, man. Like, it was just like simple, like you're just a traffic cone in the air tonight. I'm like, Jesus, man. Okay, he's proven with finishing at the rim. So here's my concern tonight. Viper Shark also mentioned this on Twitter. So there was a moment where Giddy was like, he was only shooting those floaters tonight, and it's because the Suns' length was really affecting him. I was like, man, like you know, he's making them, but that's not what I want to see. Like I want to see Giddy continue to get to the basket and then finish. So that was like a big concern initially early on, because I'm just like, I mean, I know he's coming back from injury, but like I don't want him shooting all these floaters again coming back from injury. Like he got away from the floater, which is why he's been shooting better at the rim. And he was shooting a bunch of floaters early. He was making them, but it was just like, that's not gonna be consistent for you. So you need to get back to, you need to get in, like actually at the basket. And he did that. Like he was able to get some transition opportunities at the rim, and he did a good job of finishing through contact. So that's a good sign. So that's obviously, though, it's like we got to continue doing that. You know, you resorting to a floater is concerning. Like, I don't want to see that, but and again, there's a time and place for it, but we don't want you to go back to that. So he did well in the second half to adjust to it, and he adjusted to the length, and he was able to finish through contact. So that was good to see. But yeah, I was definitely concerned early on. I was just like, bro, like you're making them so far, but like you made 3 floaters in a row, and I'm like, great, but I need you to go back. Like you need to get to the rim and finish, because that's like, these floaters are not going to continue going down. So yeah, he did a good job. He eventually figured it out and got in transition and wasn't doing as much in the half court, which is good. Pretty bothered me. I'm sick of not seeing J.L. Smith, but we have this expensive old man who doesn't look like he doesn't want to be, doesn't even want to play. Yeah. The politics of the NBA. And again, like, if you want Vooch off this team next season, he has to play. So it's just like, it's a rough spot right now for Jalen Smith. It really sucks. You know, Jalen Smith should not be getting DNP CDs right now, but he is. And I'm going to be, you know, feeling for him for the rest of the season. Like, he's probably not going to play for the rest of the season, honestly, or get any sort of consistent time. So, I mean, look, if it was up to me personally, I'm like, hey, Vooch, sit out for the rest of the season. Go get your calf right. You know, we'll just kind of tell the league office, like, because, you know, the Toronto Raptors are doing it right now, if you're, by the way. Like, the Toronto Raptors, like, Brandon Ingram's out, like, for forever. Like, the Raptors are just not playing guys. And it's like, yeah, they're dealing with this injury and trying to recover from it. So I'm just like, okay, look, Vooch, like, you're not 100% clearly. Good game tonight, but go sit, and we'll bring you back next season if you're still here for whatever reason. Just go sit. But that's not my decision. When I put on the offseason cheap signing again, should be Carlson OKC today. 16, 6-2, 2 blocks, 2 steals in 22 minutes. I have seen that he, like, the depth in OKC is ridiculous. He's part of that, yeah. You know, we'll see what the Bulls have. Again, if you watched my video earlier today, like, it's going to be, like, the Giddey and Jones contracts kind of are a big, you know, they have a big impact of what the Bulls can spend in free agency. And so, like, let's say if Giddey gets, like, $25 million per season and Jones gets 14, like, you don't have a lot of money really to use. So, you know, Giddey even got a Carlson. I don't even know if that's even a possibility. But if you could get Giddey like on 20 million and get Jones at like 12 million per year, it's like that's gonna really help the Bulls' flexibility and to spend with the mid-level exception. So, obviously, I would love to get Javon Carter off the team and get Vooch off the team and get some other contracts off the squad. Like that'd be ideal, but that's hard to do. Like it's just a hard thing to do right now. So, you know, it's very important that not just for this upcoming offseason that you, for the contracts for Giddey and Jones where it's going to directly impact, but also for the future seasons. Like, you want to make sure you keep your salary cap flexibility because that's one of the biggest assets you're going to have heading into the 2026 season. So, that's going to be important. Bulls need to figure that out properly. I have no faith in AK to do such a thing, but I'm going to hope that they do it right. That's all I'm going to say. Towards the end of the first quarter, and he has jumps. He has great catch and shoot three shooter in 6 minutes a game. He shoots 2 threes plus a 40% rate consistently. That's good. Yeah, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on him. Where the hell? There you go. They powerful with his jumps to 7'1", and they use him in double bigs too. I mean, yeah, OKC's been a big part of that. Well, we dropped the court, but I'm glad he's helping us lose. Yeah, that's honestly, if anything, Vooch is helping us lose, which is good. Not just getting off the bench that messes up rotations. Also consider the back-to-back tomorrow having an impact, I would imagine. I think that was also part of the calculations tonight. Which honestly, it'll be interesting to see what the Bulls do tomorrow with rotations. Because like I wouldn't be shocked if like the bench gets more minutes tomorrow night. So yeah, I'll be interested to watch. Also for quick add-on, has Claxton like Jones with length and foot speed, a little less but similar, get the three shooting so you can guard wider range than many centers. Yeah, I'll be definitely interested to see what he gets, because I don't know if the Bulls are being running for him, honestly. Again, we're probably stuck with 3 centers heading into next season, so and I don't want to personally take any minutes away from Buzelis and Phillips at the 4, but if you want to play those guys at the 3, then maybe. Lead Durant's rookie player added to the skills. So for Boo's first season, probably too much to think about it in the first. Oh, I mean, for sure. I mean, it's so hard to guard Durant, man. All around bad. Dre Jones is probably the best playing and didn't do as usual. He didn't time his help be well and left a few open shooters. Always a bit above average, but well, I mean, yeah, like if you want to talk about the perimeter guys, like Kevin Huerter, like on that Devin Booker, like almost flagrant foul that he did, like he's not fighting over the screen right. And you know, if people are like, "Oh, Booker jumped into him," like that's Booker's shot. Like Booker always jumps forward. Like that's always been the case. And like if you're wondering, like I thought that was gonna be a flagrant because like that was very clearly in Booker's landing space. The good news for Huerter though is just like Huerter didn't lunge forward. So, but like he was very clearly in Booker's landing space. Like it wasn't like, you know, Stacey's like, I don't know about that. Like Booker's jumping forward. I'm like, no, he isn't. Like that's Booker's shot. So yeah, I was, you know, Bulls got lucky there, but like it was just all around. Like you could just tell the guys were just not there defensively. I'm just like, Jesus. Yeah, we move. It's all good. Don't know if I would say that anyone on the team is much of a mid-range defender for Durant sucking into that space. Trey's perimeter more to me, and Zach may be the best there, but he has to match the center. Right? Yeah, that's the thing. Zach has to be down low. Suns commentary is disappointing. Their D of Kobe kept saying you can see his head. He has his head down, isn't looking to pass. So you need to come over to EF space on specific goals. I mean, yeah, I mean Kobe had Tyus Jones on skates today in that one play. Yeah, the Suns' overall defensive level went down in that second half. Like you could just tell that the effort was just lower. And you know, Kobe did a good job of taking advantage of it. And yeah, I do think that there were moments Kobe was not looking to pass at all, and the Suns just were letting him get to the basket. So, yeah, Suns didn't take advantage. I saw Booker cooking the Bulls. Suddenly thought, oh, Zach LaVine. If LaVine only had a better basketball IQ, he could be the better version of Devin Booker. What do you mean though by IQ? Because it's like, when everyone tells me that LaVine needs better IQ, right? Like they always say, like, oh, he needs to be a better playmaker, and like he needs to like, you know, be a guy that can like run the point guard in a sense and handle the ball more. But I'm just like, for me with LaVine's IQ, it's like I want him to shoot more threes. Like I don't want him to constantly always be driving to the basket. Like, I mean, hell, like Anthony Edwards is one of the best athletes I've ever seen. Okay, and Anthony Edwards this season, who is shooting over 40% from the 3-point range and better, or he's exactly at 40. Okay, Anthony Edwards, like, yeah, he's a bit shorter than Zach, but he has the absolute verticality like out of this building. But yet he has still adjusted to the point where he's shooting a bunch more threes. Like he's shot 10 threes a game this year. And it's paying off. He's averaging a career high points per game on overall pretty solid efficiency, especially from 3-point range. He's still obviously lightning quick to the basket and can jump through a roof. With Zach, it's just like, I've always said that people want to tell me like, oh, the IQ needs to come where he needs to pass it better. I'm just like, to me, that's not about it with Zach. I've always said with LaVine that his IQ where he could be better is just shooting more threes. Be more efficient with your overall shot selection, because you know, Zach, sometimes he does kind of get into the mode of like, oh, I'm only attacking. Don't only gonna go to the basket. And then we've seen him sometimes obviously settle for the mid-range a little bit too much. But in terms of like his overall like basketball IQ, like I think the only area where I'm like, he needs better IQ is just shoot better shots, shoot more threes when they're there. And I mean, yeah, I think he could get back to the 27 point per game mark easily if he did that, but he's trying to be more of a team player. He's not going to take, 21 shots a game anymore. So yeah, we'll see how his time in Sacramento is going to work out. It's been ups and downs so far in Sacramento, but they won tonight without him and Sabonis. So DeRozan on track to hit 25 career points against us tomorrow. He's 17 away. Yep, that's definitely going to hit. I'd be shocked if DeRozan doesn't get to that number, honestly. On top of a rebound, if you notice, Montes P. Will Julian had minimal rebounds. 51 shot attempts by Booker and Durant, maybe less chances to rebound when guarding them due to made shots. And Jerome not in paint most attempts. Sure, you can say that, but I would also say that they also didn't do a good enough job. Like everyone didn't do a good enough job of rebounding tonight. And there were moments today where Patrick Williams was on the floor but not guarding Kevin Durant. We saw Josh Giddey guard Kevin Durant, and it was off of a switch. And so Patrick Williams is not guarding Kevin Durant. Durant takes a shot, and Patrick Williams has every chance to get the rebound, but he doesn't get it. So, look, I understand the whole thought process of like, hey, if you're the initial point of attack defender and you're going to be guarding guys on the perimeter, like, oh, it's going to be harder for you to get defensive rebounds. But at the same time, Trey Jones was the main defender on Devin Booker tonight, and he had 6 rebounds tonight. So that's the smallest guy on the floor by far, and he is guarding Devin Booker for most of the game tonight, and he still found a way to get 6 rebounds. So to me, it's still just all about effort. You just need to give effort on the glass. If you're not guarding Durant at the time he takes a shot and you're supposed to be the main defender and he takes a shot, you need to be in position for the rebound. Plain and simple. And that goes for everybody. That's not just for Patrick Williams. That's not just for Montes Buzelis. That's not just for Julian Phillips. That's for everybody. So look, I still stand by that Patrick Williams and his lack of rebounding is not because that he's guarding the best perimeter offensive player on some nights. It's because he's not giving enough effort. It's just plain and simple. Because in Bulls defense for Booker trashing, there isn't anyone who's to come height, etc. match Booker. Trey is better on smaller guys, especially that just not as big as Booker. Trey Jones is obviously the best option. The other guy would have been Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter is just not a good defender. So yeah, it's not shocking that Booker went off against us. Do you think he's sneaking the AC before the play-in starts? No, I don't. I think so. Look, the Bulls recently, we're just gonna quickly look at the schedule again. Okay. The Bulls recently, they've had an easier time. Okay. So since the All-Star break, which is here, okay, you lost to New York and Phoenix, okay? But then you beat a Philly team, a Toronto team, an Orlando team, a Magic team, an Indiana team without Halliburton, a Brooklyn Nets team. You've won against Utah. So those are their 7 wins since the All-Star break, okay? I think the Bulls, like, starting with this Phoenix game, it's going to be a rough stretch through the end of March, okay? I mean, I think every single team here is fighting for playoff seeding, except maybe for Dallas, which, you know, they just have injuries. Dallas might actually have to forfeit this game, by the way. They need to get guys healthy enough to play this one, so the Bulls might just get an easy one anyway with this. But I think every single team here is going to be fighting for playoff seeding. So I think, honestly, your most winnable game here is going to be the Sacramento game tomorrow, but it's a back-to-back. Sacramento's also on a back-to-back. So I think this is honestly your most winnable game, and besides obviously the Dallas one, which we'll see about this one. So I'm just expecting a rough stretch here, which it's funny because it's like, you know, every time I expected a rough stretch, they go on like a better run, and then every time I'm like, hey, the schedule looks a little bit easier for the Bulls, and then they just lose a bunch of games. So I think this is gonna be pretty rough though. You're in the West Coast for a lot of these games here. We'll see if Denver's gonna be healthy and if LeBron plays, but either way, like, these are still teams that are fighting for playoff seeding out west, and every game matters for them, so they really can't take a day off. I'd be shocked if somehow you win in Oklahoma City with how well they're playing. Now in April is going to be interesting, okay? April is going to be the interesting month because I think there's plenty of winnable games, which of course then the Bulls are going to lose them, right? Toronto, Portland, Charlotte, all winnable. I think these are all winnable games. I don't know about Miami, honestly. They look god-awful, but who knows? And then you have Philly and Washington to end the season, which are very winnable, which you should win those games as well. So either way, I think you're going to be, like, if this is a rough stretch, like, where you win, like, 1, and, like, this is, like, a better stretch where you only, like, lose, like, 2, then it kind of just evens out, and it's just like, well, you're kind of still stuck at, like, 500 for this time being, therefore, like, you're probably not gonna be catching any of these guys. The Bulls need to go on a pretty serious, like, we won more of our games than we lost type of run here, because Magic are, you know, they're 2.5 games ahead of us right now, and Magic are still, like, they're still trying, right? It's not like they've waved the white flag or anything. So I think that it's gonna be hard for the Bulls to get to the 8th seed personally, but I guess there is a chance, especially with the way that Miami is playing awfully and Magic haven't exactly played the best. I think it's pretty slim at this point in the season, especially with the schedule with the Bulls. I really think it's going to be pretty rough for the Bulls. Team lacks a wing for anyone like Booker, especially Durant with speed. I think honestly your best wing obviously it would be Dalen Terry, right? But Julian Phillips, right? And you know, Phillips was guarding Durant, so yeah, I understand. Like, I definitely understand it with why Booker killed us tonight. Like, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, Booker's always killed us, honestly. So I'm not shocked by it at all. It's just like, can we at least get better effort? Like, that's all I'm asking, because there are just way too many like wide open looks. If Booker's just killing you just because he's killing you, and like you're giving some effort, like, okay, fair. But there are just too many wide open looks tonight for Booker, and it's just like that cannot happen. Like, we can't just be letting wide open looks go from a team like the Phoenix Suns. Like, they've had a rough season, but overall, yeah. I think the Suns win heavy Durant and Booker usage. Also, Richards killed Vooch on the rebounds. Well, I mean, yeah, I think the Suns are bigger. Sure, I get that, but why does Trey Jones have more rebounds than all those guys combined tonight? Like, that's unacceptable. Okay, like, as much as we want to, like, you know, look at all this, like, this is unacceptable by these guys. Like, Uzelis had 0, unacceptable. Patrick Williams only has 2, unacceptable. Like, you got to be better. Hence why the Phoenix Suns had 26 second chance points tonight. Like, this isn't a, hey, we can let these guys off the hook sort of moment, because these other guys that are smaller than you, they out-rebounded you better, okay? Like, this is a, you guys got to do better situation. This isn't a, oh, you know, you're guarding Durant, you're guarding Booker, it's okay, we don't need your rebounding. This is a, no, you need to be better rebounding. Like, this is unacceptable levels of rebounding. Hence why the Phoenix Suns had 13 offensive rebounds today. Like, this isn't a, we can give them a pass. This is not one of those situations at all. Dalen had a bad game tonight. He could have helped on Booker maybe a little bit. Oh, I mean, yeah, if Dalen wasn't just being awful tonight overall, then yeah, he would have helped. But I mean, I'm not personally playing Dalen Terry if he's turning the ball over like that. Like, this is the reason why I'm not thrilled with Dalen Terry moving forward. But it's just like, if he's playing like that, I'm not going to play him. Like, that makes perfect sense why you're not going to play him. We look at most of the shot attempts from the outside. The rebounds did not go in the direction of the person guarding the shooter, especially Booker and Durant shots. Right, but there are still lineups out there where it was both Buzelis or Patrick Williams. It was Buzelis and Julian Phillips. Like, there's lineups out there where it's like there's two of those guys on the floor and they're not rebounding effectively enough. That's the problem. Like, that means one guy's not guarding them, right? Good upset too on the whole Trey and Lonzo. Can they keep both you did? And you could do it in the playoffs. Better basketball on the data. Yeah, appreciate it. Bush got killed in the worst expected. He would get subbed in early in the third. Like, here's also, like, we'll go with this also example. Okay, Nick Richards had 17 shot attempts today, or 16, excuse me. Nick Richards was taking a lot of shots. He even took some perimeter free throw shots and was draining some of them. Okay. Nikola Vucevic, just because that Nick Richards is taking some shots, that does not mean Nikola Vucevic gets a pass tonight for, oh, Nick Richards is taking a lot of shots, therefore Vucevic has to contest and he's not getting the rebound. Like, no, your job is to get the rebound. I'm aware Nick Richards shoots mostly at the rim, so it's like, oh, you're already at the rim, but Vucevic, you're a 7-footer. Like, this isn't oh, we give him a pass because they're guarding certain guys. Like, no, this isn't how this works. You got to rebound more effectively, okay? These guys, like Buzelis tonight, there was a moment early in the first quarter tonight where Buzelis had the rebound and he completely whiffed on it. Like, the rebound went through his arms, okay? Like, I'll even bring this up. Like, this isn't one of those moments where it's, oh, Buzelis is guarding a guy in the perimeter and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's okay. They just messed up. Like, or the ball didn't go to him. It's like, no, this is a serious issue. You gotta get this rebound. This isn't it. That's Nick Richards. Where is it? Was it this one? It might have honestly been this one. Really? What the fudge? Hold on. That's not it. It's defensive rebound.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're an offensive-minded team, and two guys that I worry about is Herter and Kobe White.
Nah, this one's on Vooch. Like, this is unacceptable by Vooch on that position. Where is this one? I know there was this one where I'm just like, bro, like, how did Buzelis miss this? Like, you can't miss this. You can't miss this rebound. Was it this one? Might have been this one. I mean, look, this is one of those. Yeah, this is it. Okay, like, brother, like, Buzelis on this. Rob, I don't know if you're still here, Rob. Okay, Buzelis isn't even guarding Durant on this possession. Okay, like, this isn't one of those situations where you can say, oh, Buzelis is guarding Durant on the perimeter and Durant took a shot, therefore he has to contest hard on the perimeter and it takes him out of the rebounding action. Okay, this is not one of those situations. This is hey, Kevin Herter is on Kevin Durant, which is what happened a lot tonight because the Suns are trying to get the mismatch tonight. And you see here that Buzelis is not guarding Durant. He is guarding Gillespie on the perimeter, and Durant takes a shot. And yes, maybe Vooch kind of messed this up, but also if you're Buzelis, you just got to get this. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you have to get this rebound, okay? This is like your one shot today where you could have gotten this rebound and you didn't get it, okay? Vooch taps it to you. You miss this rebound. It goes through your arms. Like, this is unacceptable. Like, I'm sorry, Rob, but this, like, you have no argument here, okay? There is no argument here for whatsoever for you to say, well, Buzelis is guarding Durant, therefore he's not able to get the rebound. This is a rebound for Montes Buzelis. He misses it, and what it lead to? Oh, of course it stopped playing. But if you're wondering, it led to this. Sorry, this is not it. The offensive rebound, just as we saw all night tonight. Okay. Hey, you should have gotten this rebound. He messed this one up. Please do a wide open three-point shot tonight. That's a Hall of Famer shooting that. Like, this is what happens. You got to give the effort. Like, this is unfortunately not one of those things where I can just blame, like, oh, the team construct is bad, or you know, these guys are rookies. Like, this is not one of those times. Like, this is a, hey, you gotta be better. I'm sorry, you just have to be better. The Vooch 2 missed free throws, 5 airball 3 was terrible. Oh, that was also awful. Yeah, that at that moment I was about to tweet it, like I would take Vooch out, but like, you know, he was kind of like again one of the only guys scoring, so it's just like yeah, man, we saw Billy use 2 challenges too. That's really rare, unlike other teams that don't often times even up big, like unlike Billy versus Utah. Yeah, Billy did use both those challenges, and honestly, he's done a pretty decent job. Like, the coaching staff's done a good job with the challenges. They've won a lot recently. They don't challenge as often as other teams, but they have a pretty high success rate this year. That was not the case last year, right? Last year, the Bulls had very little success in challenges, but this year has been pretty solid by the coaching staff. So clearly, Billy did it, like, you know, there was definitely a change in the coaching staff structure this year. You know, we brought in some different guys. Wes Unseld here. They've kind of, you know, did the guys behind the bench as the different coaching staff, which are the guys that kind of make decisions on the challenges. So, good job this year. I appreciate that the challenges have been better this year, and we're not just trying to use challenges just cause. So yeah, good job by Billy and the coaching staff. They've done a really decent job with that today. He play well versus Clippers during this stretch, but I agree. I want to see him versus better teams, Lakers coming up. Did he play well? I just remember Zach going off in that game against the Clippers into a dome. But I mean, yeah, we'll see. Let's see here. You might be thinking the Lakers. Oh, I guess he did play pretty well against the Clippers as well. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this is gonna go for the Bulls. I really think, I mean, bro, the Clippers are one of those teams, at least in my opinion, where I'm just like, you know, I don't know if they're necessarily contenders. I mean, hell, you're 39 and 30. I mean, if you're 39 and 30 in the East, you're the 6th seed right now. Or actually, honestly, you're the 5 seed right now. Actually, that's crazy. They're 7th right now in the West, and they're fighting for their lives in the playing spot here. But like, bro, I would not want to face this team right now. Like, James Harden is still doing a pretty good job. Obviously, he's lost a step, but he's still doing a pretty good job. And that Clippers team just has length everywhere, bro. Like, I don't want to face them, at least personally. So, we'll be at home though, so gives the Bulls a better chance. But I personally don't want to face them at all. Did Vooch play Smith or Collins style with Vooch is nothing for you? If Vooch plays well, it helps you, but he hasn't played well since he's come back, so I agree with that. We won't do that? No, yeah, they're not going to. God, to CY, by the way, was kind of a bad game for him, but still was still good. Yeah, first half, not great from Kobe. Made some bad decisions, at least in my opinion, in terms of fast break opportunities. Second half, you know, he got to the rim more, kind of carved up the Suns defense better. Good job. He adjusted. So, again, he's doing what we're asking of him. Like, go get 20 points a night, every single night, and he's done that. So, I can't be too pissed off or anything. Like, this is good. He's done a really solid job of just consistently getting to the basket, and he's shooting a pretty efficient overall percentage from the field. The three-point shot has not been that efficient, but it's honestly making it look better because it's like he's not like draining a bunch of threes to help get him his points. Like, he's done a pretty solid job of just continuously getting to the basket and finishing. So it's a good overall kind of stretch for Kobe. Again, we gotta see it better against better teams. We have to see it. And obviously you got to continue to do this. So you can't just do this for a 10-game stretch like how a lot of people were talking about this year. It's like, well, I mean, it was just a 2-month hot stretch for Kobe last season, right? Like, yeah, it's great that we saw that 2-month hot stretch for Kobe last year, but it's like we can't just have you only do that for 2 months. Like, we have to see this throughout an entire season for us to be like, okay, we are solidified as a now consistent 20-point per game scorer in this league on efficient shooting. So it's a tough task, bro. I mean, there's a reason why when, you know, I talk about guys like Levine, I'm like, that they're hard. They're hard to find. It's not like, you know, you can just get a guy on the perimeter that shoots 50, 40, 80 and average just 23 plus points per game. Like, it's just not a thing that you just find. So, I'm hoping this is going to work out for Kobe, and if he can kind of take that role, it'd be great. It's just that, you know, he's had his struggles this year, which is obviously why I'm just like, hey, we still got to question it. Which again, that's not me hating. That's just me being just aware of like, this is nice, but keep going, right? We can't just settle for this. This has got to be better. We need more from this sort of stuff here. Watching the YouTuber who likes the Knicks that mostly does draft stuff, who's fairly big, and he saw trades suggested involving Vooch to some team that had a second, and he thought it wasn't enough. Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely not. Like, why? Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. You think that you're saying that the guy thought that trading Vooch for a second was not enough for the Bulls? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. No, I disagree. That's insane. I'm with you. I'm like, no, I would just trade Vooch, honestly. Like, don't give us anything back. Just take his contract, please. Like, I don't need a second round pick for him. Just take his contract. I'll be happy. Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. Well, I was wondering about these wink handshakes deals. Do they exist? Can they fall through? I mean, bro, I think it's pretty hard to kind of pull those off in today's era. I think maybe for contracts it might work out, but like in terms of trades, I think it's pretty tough to pull off. But I don't know. Maybe the Luka Doncic deal was a wink deal, which, I mean, hell, that's looking worse and worse by the day for the Mavericks. But is a minimum contract signing, my bet. OKC want to have the roster slots, so unless they sign a trade for a second, which is their kind of thing. Really? You think it's a minimum contract? Like, the way that, like, I think a team's gonna be willing, like, to throw like a biannual or something at him, because if he's gonna be pretty cheap, then it's like that kind of does raise it where it's like you're maybe just like above a minimum. And so a lot of teams would be like, hey, we get a pretty productive player for cheap, like, here's a biannual. Like, that's something I think he might be able to get. Maybe this is irrational. I don't expect Vooch to be traded. Nobody will want to make it, doesn't know when to pull the trigger. Oh, I completely agree. I don't expect Vooch to be traded at all. I think, Rozzy, like, you're not being irrational at all. I think you're going to be actually correct. I think Vooch is here to stay for another season, which is the reason why I've said that this contract that he signed, this 3-year deal that he signed, when people initially saw it, they're like, oh, this is a great contract. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, this last year of this deal, I was adamant that the Bulls had to make it non-guaranteed in some sort of fashion. So whether that was, you know, making only $10 million guaranteed and the rest is non-guaranteed, or it's a team option, like, it had to be in some sort of fashion non-guaranteed for this last year, and they didn't do that. And I was saying at the time, this is a bad contract. That, and it's not just because of, I think that Vooch's, like, overall production is overrated, but I was saying, like, he's gonna be 35 and this contract is backloaded, and he's gonna make more money this year than he did in the first year of his contract when he was 33. Like, this last year had to have been non-guaranteed, and you didn't do it. So, yeah, he's stuck here. I firmly believe he's stuck here. Now, granted, I thought Levine was also not gonna get traded halfway through the season, and he was traded. So, I don't know, honestly, at this point. Dave Vooch could be moved based on the outcome of this playoffs if that team doesn't win it all, for instance. Lonzo, yes. I don't know why a team would want Vooch. Like, what team in the world is going to be like, yeah, we could use a backup center like Vucevic? Like, the comparison is like Jonas Valanciunas, right? Like, they're kind of similar in how they play. Not amazing defensively. They're a little bit slow-footed, but they get rebounds and they score okay. Valanciunas is just better on the interior, though, in terms of scoring. But, like, the problem is that Valanciunas is making so much less than Vooch. Like, that's the problem. So yeah, like, some teams would be like, yeah, we'll take Jonas Valanciunas on a very cheap overall contract of, what is it, this year? That's not this year. Yeah, it's $9 million this season. Okay, like, teams would pay a backup center that puts up Valanciunas numbers, $9 million or $10 million as a backup. Okay, hell, that's what Jalen Smith is making, right? But no one's gonna pay $21 million for a backup center for Vucevic who doesn't play any defense and is also less efficient than a guy like Jonas Valanciunas. Like, why would a team want to do that? So the team, like, the only way I see Vooch getting off this team is if their starting center, like, has like a catastrophic injury to start the season, and it's like, oh, we have a trade exception that can take on Vooch's contract. We'll trade a second round pick for Vooch, and that's our center for this year. Like, that's like the only way I really see this happening, because like, he has to start because you're paying him $20 million. And I don't know I don't know if there's any team that's really going to be willing to do that, honestly. Yeah, the Warriors, no one even wants him anymore, but worst case deadline, which will suck. But then, I mean, like, why would anyone want him then? Like, yeah, if you're trading Vooch at the deadline next season, you're basically like, I'm willing to give you a bag of air for Vooch because well, we're only going to have him for 2.5 months, and we're not going to pay any sort of future assets for Vooch. And it's just like, the other team's going to be like, well, that's also $21 million that we have to find a way to fit into our salary cap or overall payroll. And it's just like, that's hard to do in the middle of a season. So it's going to be off season or never, honestly, for Vooch, at least in my opinion, because finding a team that's just like willing to take on $21 million, or I guess the prayer is that you get some sort of like, you know, just salary fillers, but then you're probably taking on long-term money at that point. But man, it's looking rough. Would you do a trade center round zone and pick to Charlotte for Williams? I don't know, honestly. I love Mark Williams, but I think I would have to, before I would do a trade like that, I would have to kind of figure out the rest of the center stuff. Like, I would need Vooch off the squad at least beforehand. Assuming that you don't trade Jalen Smith or Zach Collins, which I guess that could be the option here. But which honestly, if you're trading for Mark Williams, then yeah, I think I'd be more open to trading one of Collins or Smith. But yeah, I would have to do that sort of trade first, and then I'd be open to it. But are you able to do that trade first of being able to trade Collins or Smith or Vooch first? That'd be my only problem. Wasting more time not drafting a center because Vooch is here, which is why they never drafted previous 4 years. I mean, that you could argue that's the case, but I also just think that they wanted to target wings, and that's what they targeted in the last drafts, right? Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, Montes Buzelis, they're all wings, right? I think that they like their wings in the draft, which is fine. I don't necessarily think it's like, oh, we don't think this player is gonna fit on our squad. And hell, like the backup center position has kind of been wide open for many years. Like, I mean, we've had the Drummond years, but it's like, hey, you can kind of trade Drummond at any time. Jalen Smith was signed in free agency after the draft. So I think that they would have had time for a center to come in. I just think that they were heavily targeting wings in the draft, and that's fine. Like, I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. I think that's a good thing to target. They just got to do their scouting better, honestly. And most of us think they would be a good go-to, that he would go to a good team to try to win if there's a bad team that it has to hit the lowest cap number that would win a salary all year. Is there a bad team that it has to hit the lowest cap number that would want his salary all year? Maybe Brooklyn, but I think Brooklyn's going to spend all their money. Like if we're gonna talk about cap tracker here for Spot Track, like the only team that really is going to be like starved for like contracts is going to be Brooklyn. And like, I know it's a projected $91 million, but like in reality, it's going to be probably close to 70 million. Because again, they have all these cap holds they have to figure out. I mean, like D'Angelo Russell are going to keep that cap hold for sure. And also, yeah, the Cam Thomas cap hold too. Okay, honestly, it's gonna be close to like the 60 million, like or not even like 50 million. Like they're really heading into the offseason with like $50 million in cap space, assuming that they just get rid of everybody else. Like they, you know, re-sign Zaire Williams to like a cheaper deal than this. They let go of D'Anthony Melton, and they re-signed Aaron Sharp to a cheaper deal than this. And then they got to re-sign these guys, right? But they're not going to re-sign these guys, or maybe they get rid of D'Angelo Russell, sure, but they're not going to re-sign Cam Thomas until they bring in everybody else first, right? Like they're going to want to bring in more people first before they give Cam Thomas his contract, because they have bird rights on him and they can re-sign him with the salary cap. So I guess it would be Brooklyn if they trade like Nick Claxton, but like why would they do that? Like why would they want Vooch? Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't really see a team that's like that needs to hit the salary floor to take on a Vooch contract, honestly. The other team I guess might be the Wizards, but like they also have like contracts kind of committed. Like Chris Middleton, which we'll see about this, I guess, but like they kind of have a lot of money committed. Poole's making 31 million. You got Marcus Smart at 21. So I mean, in theoretical sense, like they could get $47 million in cap space, but like I think they'll just spend it somewhere else, honestly, you know? Like, I personally wouldn't take back Vooch unless I'm getting, like, a second-round pick or something out of it. And it's just like, okay, well, if you're the Bulls, you're not going to give up a second-round pick right now. So I don't really know how it's going to work. Unless, obviously, you go and trade for a second-round pick, then, yeah, maybe you can, you know, get Vooch off the squad here. But it'd just be hard to sacrifice an asset just to get Vooch off the team. But it might be worth it if you can then go and trade for a guy like Mark Williams, right? If that is something you're able to pull off, where it's like, hey, we trade, I don't know, Dale and Terry for a second round pick or something like that, and you can then take that pick and then send Vooch off somewhere else, and then you go and trade for Mark Williams. Like, yeah, maybe that's worth it. That's a lot of work, and that's a lot of teams you have to say yes to you. But it might work out. Crazy, the Suns have Book and KD, and they still suck. And Beal. Oh, I mean, yeah, they have no defense. They, I think last year they had a shot profile issue. This year it's been a little bit better, but the surrounding cast has been more of a problem this year, I think. And obviously injuries just hit them with Beal's injury. So yeah, they just have no supporting cast, honestly. So it's a bad team too. A little funny. I need to his tenure. Yeah. I always thought Booker had more of a clutch trade over Zach due to consistently having that role for years and excelling at it. Very similar play styles. Oh, for sure. I think Booker's definitely more clutch than Zach. But I also do think, though, that like Levine, I think, could be very good in the clutch if he just didn't have to like be the main ball handler. If he's like your secondary option, like if he's the Jamal Murray, like it'd be a much better situation for Zach, and he'll be very good in the clutch. The problem is that he on most recent teams, or at least this year, like he had to be the guy in the clutch, and he had some clutch shots this year. It's just that, you know, he's like the main ball handler because he's the best scorer. So if no DeMar, maybe Zach would have gotten better at the clutch and more consistent. I mean, this year for Zach, like the 2021 year for Levine, he was, I think, pretty good in the clutch overall. I'd have to look at it. I'll just quickly, honestly, I'll just go to this. Hold on. I forget. NBA clutch stats. Let's see. Yeah, clutch is also like just really, it's just this really weird number. Like, let's say it's a 6-point game with 2 minutes left to go. Like, it doesn't count as a clutch shot. Like, that's the part of clutch that's just really weird, because it's only 5 points or less in 5 minutes or less to go in the game. I want to see this here. Oh, we gotta go one page over. I mean, like these aren't like really that bad numbers. Like this is actually pretty solid for Zach in the clutch. Like 4.4, like overall 4.4 points per game in the clutch, which again wasn't that many games in the clutch, but I mean, like that's pretty solid. The shooting percentage obviously isn't amazing. Like he's shooting 26 and 39%, but you know, a lot of players overall in the clutch kind of go down in shooting percentage. So yeah, I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, let's just look for someone like Devin Booker. Like Devin Booker in the clutch this season shot 33% and 17% from the field in the clutch, and averaged 2.9 points per game in the clutch. Like, it just, you know, in the clutch scenarios, like shooting percentages always go down. So like a lot of people always look at that. Like unless you're like you're a big man, like you're just gonna have the numbers go down. So like, I mean, this year overall, I think Zach was very good in the clutch. This year, I don't like. He was definitely very up and down this year in the clutch. Let's see here. Let's see, points per game. Yeah, he's not even up here in terms of points per game. Let's see. Yeah, he's over here. So like, you know, less points, less shots as well, and then more overall field goal percentage. So like, yeah, it's definitely not amazing. Yeah, he's had his ups and downs in the clutch for sure. He could be better, but I also think that if he just didn't have to be like a main source of the offense, then if he could be like the secondary guy, like if he had a Jokic, if he had a Luka, like obviously, you know, a lot of other players would be a lot better off of that, but I think he'd be very, very good. Zach's the only all-star I've ever seen who finds excuses not to take his best shot. Catch and shoot threes drives me crazy. Actually, this year, his best shot this year has been the pull-up three. Like, he's like one of the best shooters in the league from pull-up threes this year. He's actually shooting better from, I think, pull-up threes this year than catch and shoot threes. Ironically, let's see if that's still the case though. I mean, that could have changed. No, so this has changed, but I mean, this at one point Zach was shooting like 48% on pull-up threes this year, which is insane. And it was higher than his catch and shoot 3-point shot. So yeah, he does tend to not shoot the catch and shoot sometimes, which is odd. But honestly, there are even moments to me where I'm just like, I want you to just shoot the pull-up three. Like, just go down the floor and like in a half transition mode, just shoot it. Like, when he gets on those hot modes, he'll do that. But like, I think honestly, if he just kind of had the mentality of like a Lillard, like, I really think he would be lighting up the league. But yeah, it's all right. Hey, sure about drive, because you do say Dougie don't drive at the end of the game, right? He would do that. Oh, Zach would definitely drive at the end of the game, because that's what he was told. I'm just like, that's the incorrect thing to do. Never drive at the end of a game. If it's a clutch situation with like a minute left to go or less, never drive. Like, if you get fouled and if you're driving and get fouled, you're not gonna get the foul call. Like, I would much rather you just take a shoot, like a turnaround fadeaway, and give a chance for you to make the shot instead of you going and trying to go in for a layup and you get smacked in the face and no shot at being able to make the layup. So that to me is just insanely, like, I think it's dumb. If you ask a bunch of NBA players, like, would you rather drive at the end of the game or shoot a pull-up shot, they'll say shoot the pull-up all the time. Like, you don't want to ever give the game away into the officials' hands, and a lot of times that happens when you drive. The whistles just never get blown at the end of games unless you're the Lakers. So I personally I hate it when I see players drive at the end of games. Like when Kobe, like in that Rockets game, when Kobe took that late three, everyone's like, oh, what a horrible shot. But, you know, he then drove at the end of the game and he tried to get the foul call and then, you know, missed it. I'm just like, that to me, the drive was the worst shot. Like, I'm more pissed off of you driving there instead of you taking a 3-point shot than you taking that long three, which everyone was like, that was a horrible shot. And yeah, it's not my first option, but if I had to choose between the two, I'm taking the 3-point shot because I've seen Kobe make that. And I'm like, I don't want him to drive at the end of games. It's just not a good decision. But that's always my rule that I always live by. People always disagree with me on it. Especially if you have a Giannis Antetokounmpo, it's like, yeah, he should be driving. But honestly, with the way Giannis is hitting his mid-range shots, like, even Giannis, you can even argue, it's just like, no, you just go ahead and just shoot the mid-range. He's doing a good enough job. Ozzy exactly is a high basketball IQ player. He is a scorer that doesn't think a lot and is just fluid. Lots of high IQ scores, but I would never expect Levine to be one. Above. Well, here's the thing, though. The problem with that argument is that he is by far one of the most efficient scorers in the league. So as much as we want to criticize by saying like, oh, we think you should be shooting more like catch and shoot shots, he is shooting 50, 44, and 80. Like, do we really have like any sort, like, can we really say anything? Because at the end of the day, like, if he was shooting more catch and shoot threes, like, I mean, is there really a chance he shoots 50% from 3-point range? Like, I just don't think that's a possibility, honestly. As good of a shooter that he is, like, I don't know. Like, he might honestly just not be one of those guys where the catch and shoot is just his shot. Like, he's very good when he does take his timings for it, but he might honestly just be more in rhythm when he just shoots the pull-up. And the thing is that he clearly has worked on his pull-up game. Like, that is something that I've watched over the years where he has very clearly worked on the ability to just shoot the three off the dribble, and this year especially looks like it's been the best it's ever been. So I honestly think that as much as we want to criticize the fact that it's like we think you should shoot more catch and shoot threes, I also will say it's kind of hard to criticize them when he's shooting 50, 44, and 90, like, or 80. Like, that's a very hard thing to criticize at the end of the day. Like, it's hard to kind of say like, well, you're doing something wrong. Like, defensively, yeah, I think obviously you could be a lot better. But in terms of your ability just to score, like, this is an insane shooting line. Like, not many people can even do this. So So as much as we want to say like, yeah, you should do this, like, I don't know. It's hard to say so. But again, like that might be what he's best at though. Like it just like if you're saying like, yeah, he makes some crazy shots, that's his calling card. Like that's just how it is. Like he makes absurdly crazy shots at a very, very efficient rate, which is just kind of how it goes. Be a sack game tomorrow? Oh, good luck, Tyler. Yeah, I'll be have fun there. I really think that that's gonna be a good overall game to watch. So have fun. Trey Jones is all about the effort moving into space, so those rebounds to me prove how much of the missed ones are efforts tonight, boxing out especially. Yeah, I mean, Trey Jones just seems to have a knack for the ball, which is just like, go get it. Like, I understand he's faster, but just get it. And he's done a good job of rebounding for us at his size. You can see the old Bulls and new Bulls super excited. Woohoo. A Bulls overall game. Yeah, I don't know if Levine's going to play. He was out due to personal reasons tonight, so we'll see if he does play. Yeah, you can see old Bulls and new Bulls. Both stars in Indy and Kobe are especially awful on back-to-back, so I'll be impressed and shocked to perform well tomorrow versus Kings. Yeah, I don't expect them to play well tomorrow. I won't lie. I think that the fast break opportunities, which we had a lot today, are not going to come against the Kings. We're going to be tired. Bench is going to really carry us. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I also, honestly, just due to caution reasons, like, I wouldn't be opposed if Giddey just doesn't play. I'm aware that he looked pretty good tonight, but at the same time, like, you know, back-to-back, you just got back, and yeah, you return pretty quickly, which is awesome. I'm just like, hey, let's be careful with you. It sounds like he's gonna play though, so I don't know. I personally I would just sit him, but you know, I guess if he's feeling fine, then it is what it is. I feel bad for DT. Clearly wanted to show out for his friends / family in the stands, but he just didn't the Minnesota. Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, got the steals, but also had the turnovers and missed a wide open layup. So yeah, can't, you know, you just can't be on the floor if you're gonna be doing that, unfortunately. Also, Razi, I agree. You don't want Vucevic to just be better options all around. Oh, for sure. Yeah, like if the option is to go and get a center that could maybe average 8 and 8 and have higher field goal percentage overall, or get Vucevic for $21 million, like. You go for the cheap guy. DC got a couple of quick turnovers and give an and one on the other end. Yeah, and then he missed the layup. Yeah. What's the highest pick the Bulls can get if they get in the playoffs versus losing in the play-in? The highest pick the Bulls could get if they make the playoffs is 15th overall. The highest the Bulls can get if they lose in the play-in is first. Most of the Bulls, I would say Williams, AV, or 76ers. Two worst injury management teams maybe Pels this season are showing they're emerging contender for that title. Oh, Pelicans definitely are really emerging for that. Clippers are a coin flip. Beating mid teams like Clippers or Kings is playing well as something, but it's not a big test. I want to see good games against the players as signs. Oh, yeah. SROS was a YouTuber who thought Vooch was worth more than a second. I was like, whoa, tell me you don't watch the Bulls so much at the moment. I mean, at least recently, Vooch is definitely not worth anything. Like, yeah. But, I don't know. I'm not in the front office. I want to see him sneak into playoffs. That would be a good experience for Matas. I want to see Giddey, how well he can play when he's one of the main guys in the team. I disagree personally, Migs. I think we can get that experience later down the road. But, you know, we all have our difference of opinions. I'm aware that everyone's like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh my God, all Bulls fans complain about is winning. If we win, it's like, we all complain. Like, that's not what I'm personally complaining about. My biggest issue with what's happening recently with the Bulls is that you're like, I didn't expect you to be like a bottom 4 team this year because you had to keep Levine on the roster to start the season, and you got him traded. So mission accomplished, right? But the problem to me is that you didn't trade Kobe, you didn't trade Lonzo Ball, you know, didn't take the Vooch deal with the Warriors for whatever fucking reason. I don't know why. So you kept all these vets on the roster, and instead of you just absolutely embracing the rebuild and full out deciding, hey, we're gonna accumulate as many young assets or draft assets as possible, and, you know, maybe we're like the 8th worst team in the league or the 7th worst team or whatever, Or hell, even if you like are playing this well, but if you at least traded all those guys away and you just happen to, you know, are playing this well, then that's fine. Like I don't have any issues with it. But it's the fact that you kept Kobe, which I don't think was the right decision. You decided to keep Vooch for whatever reason with that whole scenario. You didn't trade Lonzo Ball, instead you extended him, and I'm like, why the hell are we doing this? It just, the overall thought process to me makes no sense, because it's like, that's the problem with me. If the Bulls did everything that I wanted to in terms of what they should have, at least I thought should have traded away, and they just so happen to be in the 9th seed right now, then hey, you know what, props to them. That's fine. At least though, for me, it's like, hey, you might end up accidentally making the playoffs, but you at least then, with all the trades that you did, you accumulated more draft assets, you accumulated more young talent, okay, and you were able to get contracts off the books that you need to get off, okay? So that to me is the problem, okay? I'm not necessarily like, I'm not a person that wants to embrace a tank. I'm very anti-tank, but I'm not anti-rebuild. And to me, the Bulls are not rebuilding. They're being mediocre. And to me, being mediocre with the way the Bulls are doing it specifically is a problem. There are times to be mediocre, and you can like work yourself out of being mediocre if you have the proper assets to do so. The Bulls don't have that right now. They don't have a superstar in the making. They don't have arguably their second option in the making either. They have some starters that they can use for the future, but they don't really have that much young talent overall. Like, that's the problem with this Bulls team being mediocre. If you're mediocre and you have, you know, a LaMelo Ball on your squad, that's one thing. But if you're mediocre and you have very little young talent in the first place, and you don't have much other assets to help bring in more young talent, that's the problem. That to me is why I'm pissed off with what the Bulls are doing. The fact that they're the 9th seed is a issue because I need them to get as low as possible to help accumulate more young talent. They're not doing that though. They're trying to fight for the play-in, and to me, it doesn't make any sense for me to go and try to fight for a play-in spot when you don't even have your main option. Like, I'm sorry to all the Giddey supporters, he's just not gonna be your main guy. Like, he just won't be. So, yeah, it'd be nice if Giddey can get playoff experience, but I think you could go and do that later down the road. He's only 22, as everyone likes to say, so it's not like there's a rush for him to get playoff experience. It's not that big of a thing. It's not needed right now, okay? So to me personally, it's like, I'm pretty pissed at how they're handling this whole situation. The fact that we're above Miami is really annoying. Again, we're now below San Antonio after tonight because San Antonio won, and we lost, so that's a good sign. But we need to get below Miami again, because it's the lowest we could probably only go. We're probably not gonna get lower than Toronto or Brooklyn. So get lower, please. Like, just keep going, get below Miami, and we'll be fine. It'll be okay at the end of the day. I think I'll always be stuck on Kobe and half-court offense bench player when you need it to inconsistent. Also, never annoyed he travels so much after receiving the ball, yet never is called. Oh, I mean, that's NBA. We travel all the time. Draft time, the best player in the second round is like Alex Conda with big potential. You got a center. Will you not be worried about that choice to not get minutes and be wasted? Well, that's what the G League's for. If you're a second round pick and that's your best player option available, like, that's what the G League's for. That's fine. I don't have any issues with that. Obviously you're gonna hope to get Vooch off later down the road, but I would personally be I wouldn't be very concerned at all, honestly, because then he'll be playing the next year, and assuming that you sign him to at least a 3-year contract with the new second round exception, then you'll be fine. Who do you want for the Bulls in the upcoming draft? I like Comment and Noel, but I think they'll be off the board when the Bulls is on the clock. Their queen. Yeah, I still don't know, honestly, Migs. I haven't really done much research. I've started my research on Balak, but I don't really know, honestly. I can't really give you an answer. I personally saw, again, obviously, if you get number 1, take a Cooper Flag. My number 2 right now is Dylan Harper. I know there's a lot of discussion about that, though. After that, couldn't tell you. If we get like the 9th overall pick, don't really know, honestly. I'm so just kind of up in the air right now. So I still need to take my time to do some of the scouting. I have not done it yet. Brooklyn's history trying to revamp players before they did the Durant Harden / Irving button. Yeah, I mentioned them start the same again, same manager. Don't see Brooklyn wanting Vooch, more like Giddey if Heat or Bulls don't want to match, etc. So this whole talk about Miami for Giddey, okay? Once again, I don't understand that. Like, I've been pretty adamant that, like, the only team that really has cap space heading into this offseason is Brooklyn, that has, like, significant cap space. Like, yes, there's other teams that are going to have some cap space here, okay? But, like, this whole talk about Miami, like, can someone fill me in on this? Because to me, I don't know where this number is coming from, where it's like, Miami might want Josh Giddey. I'm like, with what money? Like, it's going to be a sign-and trade with him and Andrew Wiggins? Because I talked about it earlier, that if it's going to be a sign-and trade, then remember, if Giddey gets a $30 million deal from the Heat in a sign-and trade, the thing is, though, is that because of base year compensation, the Bulls can only take back $15 million, okay? So it's not like, oh, we can just do a sign-and trade, easy swap Andrew Wiggins for Josh Giddey. It won't work, okay? The Heat, it would work for the Heat, but it doesn't work for the Bulls. We can't take back Andrew Wiggins' contract by only sending out Josh Giddey, so we'd have to send out more money. So, like, I don't really know where this is coming from. And then if you're looking about the other way around, where it's like, oh, maybe we'll take Duncan Robinson instead, well, then the Heat won't, like, sending out only Duncan Robinson for Josh Giddey on a $30 million per year contract is not enough. So, someone fill me in. I don't understand the thought process here. Can someone fill me in on this? Like, I genuinely don't understand this whole thought about the Heat, because I've been pretty adamant that I'm like, the only team that has significant money is the Brooklyn Nets, and if I were them, I'm not spending it on Josh Giddey. So I don't really see where this is coming from. Can someone fill me in on this? Because I've also seen this on Twitter a lot, by the way. Suns believes when the most clutch player on the Suns is Royce O'Neal. The amount of times taking clutch shots on the Nets, then Suns in clutch moments hit a shocking rate for a low. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Royce O'Neal, I'm shocked he isn't starting, but, you know. That doesn't take enough pull-up threes either. Honestly, Billy was begging for 10 3-pointers a game, and even with the whole team shooting this year, he barely did it. So I think for the Bulls, it made sense for him not to take 10, because everyone's shooting threes, right? Like, he's damn efficient, but the Bulls really needed his interior, like, ability, right? That, like, it made sense for the Bulls. Now, for the Kings, though, I completely agree. The Kings need him to shoot as many threes as possible. He sort of did that early on, and then, like, more recently, he just has been passing it. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. He did roll his ankle, so there is that. But, yeah, I would agree with the Kings. He needs to shoot a lot more with the Kings. With the Bulls, if the team itself is shooting 45 threes a game, like, I don't need him shooting 10. I need his interior scoring, because this team lacked interior scoring. But with the Kings specifically, he needs to shoot at least 10. I agree with that. But reminder to everybody that I just want to point this out, because it's like what AV Breeze is saying right here. Okay, it's like you're the first option on this team. You should shoot. You need to shoot more. What was everybody saying in 2021 about Zach LaVine, or even in 2022? Is that he shoots too much? Okay, there seems to never be a balance when it comes to this, right? Everyone's either pissed off that he's shooting way too many shots, or like this year, everyone's saying he needs to shoot more. So honestly, I think he's kind of found a nice middle ground of like, okay, I'm going to shoot this many shots a game, and this allows me to be this efficient from the field, okay? If he shoots more, the efficiency might go down. Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, if he shot, let's say, got up to 20 shots a game, which is what he usually has been at, then he might not be shooting 51, 44, and 80. Like, it just might not be the case. So, I do think that there is a middle ground, where it's like, if he's shooting, obviously, what we're looking at his numbers, like, oh, you should be shooting like at least 20 shots a game this year. But if he did shoot 20 shots a game, would he still be shooting this efficiently? Don't know. I really don't know. With the Kings, though, I do agree. Like, he needs to shoot at least 10 threes a game with the Kings. So if you shoot like 17 shots a game with the Kings, 10 of those need to be from 3. I agree with that. But at the same time, again, we have to remember, we can't just be like, hey, we've always said that Zach needs to shoot more, when the criticism with him early on is that he shoots way too much. And even when he would shoot wide open 3-point shots, people were saying, oh, you're shooting way too many threes. Like, that's been the Chicago issue with him all along, is that he shoots too much. And when I've been saying, no, I think he's shooting just enough, I think he's fine. But a lot of people, you know, the old school heads like to say too many threes. Like, I'm shocked Stacey King has made it through this year. So I really do think that we have to also keep that in mind. That we can't just be like, oh, we've always said he needs to shoot more. I've always said that, but for other people, that has never been the case. They've always said he needs to shoot less and be more of a team player. And, well, they got their wish this year, and all of a sudden they're saying, hey, you need to shoot more. He had a game with like 6 field goal attempts a couple of days ago. That should literally never happen, but he's just so hesitant sometimes for no reason. So that was against the Warriors, and I think the entire Kings team was just awful that game. But yeah, I agree. That should never happen. And I think the Kings are still trying to figure out their whole chemistry thing. But yeah, I agree. That should never happen. What the Kings needs to shoot at least 17 shots a game and shoot at least 10 threes. I agree with that. Well, two tickets for a total 112. Oh my god, only 100? That's it? God damn, Tyler, you got to steal. Play a lot of options in the second round. I just hope we don't win in the play-in. That would irk me. That would also irk me. Yeah, we're gonna be in the play-in. Just don't win. Miami should beat us, but we'll never know. But the Vooch is still on the team when there was a trade party. That was disgusting. Oh, for sure. Yeah. So it was reported GSW is out on Vooch after getting Jimmy. It was like their plan B. Yeah, it was like their plan B, but remember what happened, right? Like the Warriors had to scramble at the end of the deadline. Like they were basically like, okay, well, we're not gonna get Vooch, so we're gonna scramble. Like we're gonna basically like try to beg for Jimmy, because there was that moment in time where it was supposed to be the Levine and Vooch trade to Golden State, right? It was supposed to be both of them, and then the Bulls decided, no, we're not going to wait around for Dennis Schroeder to become available via trade because of his trade restriction. So the Bulls then decided to go and trade Zach to Sacramento in that deal, right? So that then took the Warriors out completely of the Vooch idea. So they're like, okay, well, we're not going to get Zach and Vooch, so we're not going to just take Vooch. So we're going to have to go ahead and go and get Jimmy Butler, and they coughed up a first, right? They didn't want to do that, but they ended up coughing up a first, and it's worked out so far. So it might have been an accident that turned out to be a whole gift for them. Simple mediocre at the moment is Pistons. I would even say they're better than mediocre. They're 9 games over 500. They're better than mediocre. Or Hawks, they have young talent. Hawks are in a better position than the Bulls, obviously, but I will say that them being this mediocre is a bit unacceptable for what's going on. I'm a Giddy supporter, but not expecting him to be the main dude, just a vet useful one that has potential. Oh yeah, I think he's like Draymond Green with more scoring on offense, for sure. Which yeah, I would say he's gonna be a starter. But is he gonna be your all-star and like your main guy? No, I don't think so. I would hope. Like again, I want to become this all-star, but I have my doubts personally. Just a reminder that there really isn't a number one option right now on this team. Like the number one option is Kobe, but like we've kind of talked about, like we don't know if this is like if he's really number one option. So the biggest test to me is going to be when there is another number one option on the squad, when it's not going to be Giddey, right? Then like what's Giddey going to look like? He needs to still produce, even though he's not even though he isn't going to have the ball in his hands as much. Queen won't be on the board, surely. I'm mostly watching the later picks for Bulls in the moment. The second round is more interesting options versus the pick there. See, that could slide. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have a better answer for you guys later. Right now I just don't know. I really don't know who to trust right now. But I didn't know anyone said Giddey to Heat. I think they just seem to need what Giddey is more for hero, etc. to be maximized there under the apron, I think, or shift another out. I saw Heat lately and I thought he seems to be their need, etc. All right, that's weird then, because like I've been seeing Bulls fans saying that the Heat have the cap space, and I'm like, what cap space? Like if you think Josh Giddey is getting a $30 million per year contract from the Miami Heat, I don't know what you're smoking. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen. I promise you. Like it's not like, I don't know what you're looking at. Like the Heat are heading into this offseason over the salary cap. It's just not a possibility unless a sign and trade happens, and it's like, again, it's hard to pull off. Like, it's a very hard thing to actually do if you want to do a sign and trade for Giddey, because the team that's sending out Giddey can only take back half of his money that they're sending out. The team that's accepting Giddey has to take on his full contract. So I just don't see how it's possible. So again, if you're wondering, can we do an Andrew Wiggins for Josh Giddey swap for $30 million a year for Josh Giddey? It's like, no, you can't. Straight up, it doesn't work. Okay. It works for the Heat. It does not work for the Bulls. Base your compensation basically, like, if Giddey's making $30 million, base your compensation cuts the amount of money that the Bulls can take back in half. So if you're sending out 30, you can only take back 15. So obviously $15 million, you cannot take back a $28 million contract. So I don't know what the thought process is, honestly. I'm genuinely confused by what I've been seeing on Twitter recently. But if there is only one team that has the money for Giddey this offseason, it is the Brooklyn Nets, and I don't think they're going to be giving it to Josh Giddey. The whole talk, like, first and foremost, if the Pistons did have the money for Josh Giddey, why would they want him? They have Kate Cunningham, okay? There's no reason for them to get Josh Giddey. If the Pelicans did have the money for Josh Giddey, why would they want them? Why would they want him? They have DeJounte Murray, okay? And also Giddey and Zion Williamson, I don't know how that would work, okay? The Bulls, again, the only way they have salary cap space is if they get rid of Josh Giddey and Trey Jones, okay? So we're projected to have $19 million of salary cap space. We don't. I've already said it. We're operating over the salary cap this upcoming offseason. It's just facts, okay? So it's up to Brooklyn, and this is the reason why, yet again, I've said, the Bulls need to let Giddey go into free agency and see what he can get. I don't think he's going to get $25 million or more. I really don't think he's going to get there. So if Brooklyn gives him that money, then you know what? So be it. Goodbye. Like, good for Giddey. He got his bag. Go and be like close to like a borderline all-star, I guess, in Brooklyn. But for the Bulls, like, I honestly think that you're going to be looking at like closer to $20 million per year versus $25 to $30 million per year for Giddey. Like, I just don't see a way this is going to work out in terms of for Giddey's favor. Now, the thing that Giddey can do is take the qualifying offer. If he wants to bet on himself to not get injured next season and play the best basketball of his career next year, then he can take the qualifying offer and then bet on himself and be an unrestricted free agent after. But I don't think Giddey's going to want to do that. I think Giddey's going to want to try to get some sort of financial security this offseason. So whether it's a 3-year contract or a 4-year contract or whatever it's going to be, I wouldn't be shocked if it's just going to be a simple 3-year, $20 million a season contract for Josh Giddey this offseason, which is perfectly fine. Ideally, you get him for a longer term deal than that. But I think that's going to be the most likely scenario because the Bulls are not going to be willing to offer him more money. Giddey can't get a bigger deal in free agency because there's not many teams with cap space for a $25+ million deal in free agency for him. Therefore, it is what it is, right? The Bulls are like, hey, we're willing to give you this number. And he's like, I want a cheaper deal so I can hit unrestricted free agency earlier. And there it is, right? So that's just my predictions. Again, I watch me be wrong. Like, watch AK not do this correctly and jump the market, give him a $27 million per year deal. And I'm looking here stupid, but also AK is just a dumbass. But I just think that everyone's saying that, like, I've been seeing a lot recently. I don't know if you guys follow the Bulls lead account that has just been spamming Twitter messages recently and replies. I swear to God, that guy is using ChatGPT for some of his responses. But like, there's people like him saying that the Heat have cap space this upcoming summer. And I'm just like, what? Like, that's not true. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, there's people that legitimately think that there's a bunch of teams that have cap space this summer. And I'm like, the Bulls are projected the 4th most cap space, and they don't have cap space. Like, that's if they get rid of Josh Giddey. I'm like, where is this thought process coming from? Again, and the sign and trade, I've already discussed it. The sign and trade is hard to pull off. It's not easy to pull off. And why would teams that have to do a sign and trade want Josh Giddey when they already have a point guard? So it really limits his options here. So maybe Giddey does take the qualifying offer. Like, maybe that is like his best option for him to get the most money. But I do think that for someone like him, he's going to want financial security. So, he'll take like a $30 million a $20 million per year deal for 3 years. Like, there you go. It's a nice middle ground for everybody. Keep an eye on Proctor and Connor for second rounders. Broker mentioned previously is raw and honestly would wait another year. Yeah. Actually, super keen on Dash Daniels' lottery pick. Oh, I'm definitely looking at him for sure next season. Not a specific player, but is there an archetype you prefer in the mid/late lottery? Defensive forward, off-ball scorer, lob threat, etc., or center? I would personally like a guy that can, create his own shot. I would love that. But again, like, you shouldn't be like specifically looking for an archetype. Like, you should just be drafting whoever you think is best. So, whoever has the most physical tools. That's the answer I'll give you. Is whoever you think has the most physical tools with either athleticism, length, verticality, 3-point shot, whatever you think has the most physical tools to help your team, go with that guy. Doesn't matter what sort of position he plays. If I had to say one position, I would say, you know, playmaking and the ability to create your own shot off the dribble. But that could come at the forward or guard position. I know a lot of people want like forward depth and like especially defensive forward depth. It's just like I just, you know, we'll see. I don't know who's gonna be available. I think there's a lot of like, aren't there like a lot of guards kind of in like the early part of the draft? Let's see. I've been just going to CBS recently because I feel like that's just the I guess there's a decent amount of wings. So I guess we're getting a wing, but I mean, hell, like there's just a lot of guards in this area. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely gonna be more likely a perimeter player, assuming that like Cooper Flag doesn't fall, and you know, if we'll see about some of the other big men that we've been talking about, but yeah, I mean, maybe Malik is the guy. Queens obviously probably be available, but seems like their draft stock is slipping. I don't know. This draft is gonna be all over the place. Like if VJ Edgecombe is there at 9, like I'm gladly taking him. Like I'm not even thinking twice. But you know, it's just gonna be one of those weird drafts where it just is like there really isn't like a consensus in terms of where guys should land. Yeah, just kind of go off of who you have the best on your draft board. I'm gonna run on the court after the game and ask Billy questions before security grabs me. What do you want to ask? What do you think has been the best thing that Matas Buzelis has improved upon this year as a rookie? That'd be my question. Lob threat center and Kana is new to the sport with high ceiling. I want a 3D player Proctor. If I want a 3D player Proctor, got it. Okay. Proctor can be going lane the first. Okay. Again, yeah. You guys know more than me. I'm not a person that really knows. The Pistons might make a move for Booker. I'd be shocked if they did. I don't know why they would do that. But granted, it is the Pistons at the end of the day. I mean, they made some dumb decisions. Not in story, but great Tyler. He's an interesting pick for Bulls. Consider a second round pick if still there. Think the Bulls won't match the offer? No, okay, I doubt that. If Giddey gets $25 million a season, he matches it. If Giddey gets $30 million from the Brooklyn Nets, like, I mean, at least in my opinion, you shouldn't match it. I'd be shocked if AK matches a max contract for Giddey. But if it was up to me, if Giddey gets 30, there's no way in hell I'm matching it. Goodbye. But if he gets 25, like, you know, I'd have to look at everything, and most likely I probably would match it. Anything above 25, though, it gets risky territory where you're just like, man, that's a lot of money for a guy that I don't project to be an all-star. So, I would be very hesitant to give him like a $27 million or match a $27 million per year contract. And a reminder to everybody, it most likely goes up every single season, which, yes, the salary cap also goes up every single year, but it's not like, oh, it's gonna suddenly like get cheaper as the years go on. It's like it's gonna be like relatively the same amount of money. So I personally don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be a $30 million per year contract for Giddey. I'd be shocked if he gets it. And again, if he does get it, then I'm just wrong, right? It is what it is, and I'm just wrong about this whole situation. But if he gets 25, I think they match it. If he gets $30 million a year, I'd be just like, you know, AK might still match it, but I just wouldn't match it. I'd just be like, yep, goodbye. You can have Giddey for a 4-year, $120 million deal. That's fine. There's a reminder to everybody that if you're a team, if you're not the Bulls and you're gonna give Giddey an offer, the most amount of years you can give him is 4. Okay, you cannot give him a 5-year contract. So that's the reason why when I say $30 million a year, I say a 4-year, $120 million deal. A lot of people are like, they're like, fine if Giddey gets a 5-year, $120 million deal. That's a little sketchy to me, at least. But you know, it's the nice thing is just that it's a long contract. The problem is just obviously it's pretty decent chunk of money every year. But But if they get Giddey on a 5-year, $100 million deal, then I think it's a great thing. Yeah, short deal could favor Giddey there when the market is better than at the moment. Oh, for sure. I think Giddey's going to try to... If Giddey doesn't get the money he wants, I think it's going to... Like, the Bulls will say, hey, we want to give you this much money per year. And Giddey's like, I want a 3-year deal. And, like, same thing with, like, Kobe and Io just did. I think the Bulls' apron and Cassidy's have a bigger gap than that is confusing at the moment. Wait, what? What do you mean? Oh, are people confusing that? Are you saying people are confusing the cap, the actual salary cap versus the apron, or sorry, the luxury tax line? Because that I understand that, but I've made it pretty clear that there's a big difference of that as well. Knock is the guy amongst the bigs. Okay, yeah, that's what I've heard recently. So I've done my research on him, like a little. I've just kind of started into him, so I'll keep an eye on him. Every time I remember DT's older than Giddey, I was shocked by difference in maturity in their games. I mean, yeah, one was a lottery pick and one wasn't, but yeah. Less consensus, still more film is watched in March Madness, given the extra debt. Oh, for sure, yeah. I think we'll have a better look after the draft combine and all the workouts, but for now, it just seems like I honestly think like 5 through 20 is just kind of like, yeah, pick a guy. There's news swirling around that Cooper Fleck might skip the draft. I don't know how true it is. I don't think it's true at all. I think he's just kind of sort of saying that, but who knows? Maybe he might do it. There have been some players that I'm shocked that you decide not to get drafted this year, but I would be very shocked if he decides against it. Malik is top 6 to 7 in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing a lot recently. I think that people are pretty high on him. But again, I don't know. I've been very confused with how the mock drafts have been going. If Giddey is 23, 8, and 7 next year, would that be worth $26 billion a year? Oh, for sure. Yeah. I don't think Giddey's going to get that, though. I'd be very shocked if Giddey's going to average suddenly 23 points per game next season. That'd be a significant jump from this year, and also a significant jump from his previous career high. That'd be a 7-point per game jump from his previous career high. Like, that'd be insane to suddenly be like, wow, he's suddenly scoring 23 points per game and also 8 and 7 on much better efficiency. Like, yeah, I mean, hell, if you're putting up those numbers, you're worth $30 million a season. But I don't know, that's not going to happen, at least in my opinion. And hell, if you're the Bulls, like, listen, the thing that people are not understanding about is this, okay? Even if you think Josh Giddey can suddenly average those numbers per game, like, even if you think he can get there, okay, it's still in the Bulls' overall interest to not act as if he's going to play that way, okay? You're basically saying that at this point that you're like, oh, well, we think Giddey's going to do this and this and that, but even though that he has no other suitors on the market, we're going to still pay him as if he's averaging 23 points per game. Why would you do that? There is no reason for you to do such a thing. Like, you need to use this in your leverage, okay? That you need to use the situation to your leverage. That hey, there's not a lot of cap space on the open market for Josh Giddey this year, okay? Like, not a lot of teams have cap space. He's a restricted free agent, which means that less teams are going to be willing to offer him money, okay? So use that to your advantage and get him on a cheaper deal. You need to do this. This is just how it goes, okay? If you're wondering that, oh, Josh Giddey's going to get screwed by this, there have been many, many, many other all-stars who have been screwed in this sort of situation where it's like, oh, I'm expecting a big payday for my first free agency, and it's like, oh, well, not a lot of money on the open market. My incumbent team is able to get me for pretty cheap. Like, it's just how the business works, okay? And don't be sad if Josh Giddey signs a $20 million per year deal. It's not the end of the world for him. He's gonna be okay. I promise you. Hell, I still think that if that is the case, he's gonna sign like a 3-year deal. He'll hit the open market when he's 25. He'll be fine, okay? It's not the end of the world, people. All right? Yes, for me and Terrence, as much as you can take stat lines, the guy, assuming it's plus minus decent, so slash some decent effort shown. That's it. You guys don't understand. That we talk about Kobe not averaging 20 points per game. Hell, Kobe is still not averaging 20 points per game. You're telling me that Josh Giddey is going to suddenly jump up to 23 points per game next season, okay? Like, we're talking about next season. We're not talking about 3 years down the road. We're talking about next season that Josh Giddey is going to suddenly average 23 points per game. Like, that's what you guys are telling me right now. You think that's a legit possibility when he's averaging 14 this year? He's not even at 14 this year. His career high is 16 points per game, okay? You're telling me that he's going to suddenly do this? This is a guy that doesn't shoot a lot of threes, okay? So that's less points for him also, okay? Like, he even shoots a bunch of shots. Like, and it just because he doesn't shoot threes, though, it's going to be less points overall, right? But that's insane to suddenly think he's going to suddenly average 23 points per game. Like, that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to think about right now. I hope it happens, but that's all of a sudden you're basically like you're not even a poor man's Luka. You're all-star level Luka instead of superstar level Luka. Like that's an insane thing to think about, guys. 23 points per game in a season. That means you're consistently getting 30 points per game like every single or sorry. You're getting like 30-point games every single month. Okay, like you're consistently getting up there in the 20s, and then you're also adding in some 30s as well. Like that's a lot. Okay, Kobe White in this recent stretch coming into tonight, he's averaging 19.5. He's still not even at 20, and this is with his good stretch recently. I said it because that's what he's averaged since All-Star break, but I'm saying like that's not what he's gonna average. Like. Also not Giddy fan law, but I do like Giddy. I mean, yeah, I've been trying to support Giddy. I've been hella critical of him in the first half of the season, bro. I was really critical of him. He was not playing well, but he's played really well recently. But I'm like, this is not gonna I don't think it's gonna continue. Like, I think the good news is that his 3-point shot might be something that might be sustainable here. But that's still, even with that being said, he doesn't shoot a lot of threes. Like, that's the thing with Giddy where I'm just like, I don't think he's gonna get to like 23 points per game. Like, he might get up to like 16/17. I'm hoping he does, but like, we're talking about a significant jump. No, I don't think that was hypothetical based on the game graphic. Okay, yeah, but I understand what you're saying, Tara. It's like, I understand that's like hypothetical, but like, you're also kind of putting it in like you're framing the question in a sense of like, well, if Giddy averaged this, like, what do you think? Like, is 26 million worth it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But that's a big hypothetical, right? That's a big hypothetical. Like, yeah, I would hope, but that's because you're also saying that like he might get paid that much money in the summer. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's worth that much money if he puts up those stats. Like, I don't think he's gonna do that, bro. That's a major jump. I'll see what Kobe's averaging after tonight, because like Basketball Reference doesn't update until the next day. I mean, I'm gonna guess it's like 19.6 now for Kobe after tonight. And we've talked about Kobe's struggles this season, right? Like, we've talked about like Kobe's just been very up and down. Clearly has had his hot and cold streaks, and then there are moments with Kobe where it's just like, man, like what, like where were you this game? And then there's games he's inefficient, right? So he's been on a very nice run recently, and this is updated, so this is kind of tonight's game. So he's still at 19.5. But like, still, this is still not 20 points per game for him. And this is, you know, a guy that we've been talking about recently. He's been averaging 20 points per game consistently the last 10 games. So it's like, that's the thing. It's just like, for the people that really think Giddy's going to suddenly average like 23, like, I'm not saying that's you, Terrence, by the way. I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying that there are genuine people out there right now that are saying that we need to give Giddy the bag now because he's going to suddenly average like 25, 8 and 8 or something moving forward. I'm just like, listen, that would be a major jump if he suddenly averaged 25, 8 and 8. Like, that's an insane jump. Like, we're talking all of a sudden now that he's like one of the best guards in the league. Okay, that's an insane jump. Okay, but a lot of people legitimately think that he's gonna do that. And I'm just like, listen, Kobe White has had his up and down scoring, but like, we see like the explosive games and we see like the very mid games, right? Even he is not averaging 20. So I don't know why people suddenly think that Giddy's gonna suddenly average like 20 next season. Like, that's a crazy thing. I'm not saying that's you, Terrence. I'm just saying that there's people that legit think that. I'm like, I don't know, bro. That's a lot. So do I believe that Giddy's going to be 18, 7, and 8 and over the next few years? I mean, yeah. I see a world where that can happen. I still think he needs to improve, but yeah, there's a world. I would bet that he doesn't get to 17, 18 points per game, but the rebounding will definitely be there and the assist. But yeah, I would be interested to see what happens with it. But Flaw should sit 16-6 for me. Feel Giddy's okay for the team starting. Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna average more than 6 rebounds and 6 assists moving forward. Like, I think it'll be like 7, 8 consistently. The big question is gonna be the points, right? Because like reminder, even with Giddy going on this like recent good stretch, right? This season, right? He's had a nice recent stretch where he's consistently getting to the 20 points per game, and since the All-Star break has been great. He's still not even averaging 14 points per game, like this season, right? So with that, just this knowledge, okay, for a guy that, you know, he's shooting like only 11 shots, and even tonight he shot 15 shots, and he got 22, but it's only 15 shots, okay? And he doesn't shoot threes really that much, so it's not going to be like, oh, a Durant level 15 shots. It's going to be hard for him to get up to that 20 point per game consistently. Also, why I'm like hesitant he's going to even get up to 18. He could. He'd have to really start shooting the 3-ball more, at least in my opinion, which might not be a bad thing if he's shooting well from there. See some of your videos where you talk about the aprons and stuff, but for the most part I don't understand NBA contracts. I get you, Terrence. Yeah, it's definitely for it's definitely for a very specific niche of players or people, excuse me. Because like I'm a big nerd about it. I love it. I could talk about salary cap stuff for hours, like if you'd allow me to, and it is my stream, but I know that's also just like a lot of people are just like they're overwhelmed. There's a bunch of numbers on the screen. It's like, what the hell is this? But like the reason why, right? The reason why I did that is just to kind of set up for another video I'm about to make later down the road when Giddy does head into restricted free agency, okay? Because there was a comment today on my video that I posted that was like, oh my god, you really think Giddy's only gonna get $20 million this offseason, okay? And I'm just like, listen, like I haven't explained to you yet in a YouTube video, but I've explained it to people on stream. The reason why I do this is because I'm looking at the salary cap for the rest of the teams this upcoming offseason, okay? Like, if it was a major offseason where a bunch of teams have salary cap space, I'm like, yeah, Giddy might get $30 million. Like, there could be a chance. But just going off of this, and again, this is off of Spot Track's projected salary cap space for teams. And reminder, the Bulls won't have salary cap space because they need to keep Giddy, right? This already, like, tells me, I'm like, listen, I'm showing you guys this because I don't think there's a lot of cap space for many teams this offseason. Therefore, Giddy just doesn't have a lot of leverage. Like, I just don't think he's going to get that much offer to him in this upcoming free agency period. Therefore, I think it's very possible the Bulls get him only at $20 million. Like, I think it's a very, very possible thing that's going to happen. A lot of people are like, is he really worth that? Like, he's played so well recently. I'm like, listen, I understand. But what happens is that it's just poor timing for some guys. But there's just some free agency times where it's just like a lot of teams have a lot of money. And there's some free agency periods where there's just teams that just don't have a lot of money. This is one of those times, unfortunately, where there's just not a lot of money for Giddy. And not to mention, the new CBA is really screwing over a lot of teams, okay? The new CBA is making a lot of bigger contracts less valuable, okay? So if you're any other team right now, right, and you're like, hey, we want to take a risk, we want to see if we can get Josh Giddey from the Bulls. But we're also aware with the new CBA that if we give him way too much money, we're gonna completely hamper ourselves from making any sort of moves moving forward. It's like this CBA is gonna lower Giddy's overall leverage. So I just don't really see a world where he's gonna get 30 million. Like, there are people that legit think he's gonna get it, and they're talking about getting him on a 5-year, $125 million deal is gonna be a steal. I'm like, okay, listen, bro, that's not a steal. That's a lot of money for a guy that's never he's been a starter, but he hasn't been someone that I'm like, yeah, he's gonna turn into an all-star one day, or like be close to all-star level. Okay, that's a lot of money for a guy like that. But I don't think he's gonna get $30 million. Okay, I'd be very, very shocked if he suddenly gets $30 million. And the only team that can really offer him right now is the Brooklyn Nets. So I'd be shocked if Brooklyn does it. That's the reason why I talk about it. I know it's very, very boring. It's a lot of numbers, but it's also something that I just love. So I'm a person that I want to share my passion with everybody. If Giddy jumps while still on the Bulls, he will get the next contract, likely stay anyway with the Bulls, you'd imagine. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I think for Giddy, if he does jump, which if that's in the next free agency period for him, or if it's, maybe the rest of this season or whatever, we'll see. But I do think that if Giddy, let's say Giddy takes like a 3-year deal this upcoming offseason, and then he jumps, then yes, the most amount of money he could get is with the Bulls. So I do think that he most likely would just stay with the Bulls. But everyone's so freaked about this upcoming free agency period. It's restricted, people. It's not unrestricted. If this is unrestricted, then this is a different story. But this is restricted free agency. This is not unrestricted. That's the reason I'm just so confused with what everyone's kind of saying. But I also am aware that it's not everyone looks at the numbers like if you guys wonder, I'm on SpotTrick every day. Like I look at SpotTrick every day. I'm consistently looking at salary cap numbers and like doing math in my head. So that's why I'm like easily able to just like start talking about it. For other people, I get it. It's not something to look at. Like, it's not really something you want to look at all. It's a bunch of numbers and money. So, I don't know. I just love it personally. So that's the reason why I always kind of give you my stuff. Kobe's almost at 20 a year, 20 per game a year. Yeah, he's almost there. The recent stretch has helped him, but he's still not there yet. Kobe jumped 4 points per game for his previous career high in year 5 through 6, but I think scoring improvement for Giddey would come more at the rim/line from 3. But that's also with Kobe suddenly playing the most amount of minutes he's ever played in or he's ever averaged in a season, and he had by far more responsibility with the ball. Like the last season for Kobe, okay, like this compared to his previous career high, right? We're talking about the most amount of minutes he's ever played in games, okay, and also the most amount of games he's ever played in a season, and by far the most amount of ball handling responsibility he's ever had. So there's a lot that had to go into that, and Kobe still didn't even get to 20 last season. Okay, most amount of minutes per game. He was like, I don't know what he was. He was like top 10 in like minutes per game last season. Okay, Billy played him to the ground, and so a significant increase in minutes, a significant increase in on-ball opportunities, right, and a significant increase in terms of overall games played. It led to this, right? So that's a major jump for him, which is congrats to him. That's awesome to see. But at the same time, like, there was also a lot that had to go into that for him to jump up that much, right? But yeah, for Giddey, to me, he has to shoot more threes. Like, I think what I've seen recently with the rim, I'm like, okay, if that's sustainable, that's great. But for you to get up into 20 points per game, you need to start also shooting more threes. He's getting to the free throw line enough, which is good. The thing is that he needs to start shooting the 3-ball just a tad bit more, just a tad bit, because he might be shooting now 37% from 3-point range, but if you only shoot 4 a game, it's not that effective. Like in terms of your overall scoring output, like you need to average more, which is the reason why I'm just saying, like, if Giddey just ends up being a 17, 8, and 8 guy for the Bulls, that's fine. I'm very happy with that. Like, that's a perfectly fine thing. I think a lot of Bulls fans are just like, it's like he has to be all-star or bust. I'm like, that's not what we need. Like, yeah, with Patrick Williams, with him, like, he was a flat-out bust. But if Giddey never becomes an all-star and is a 17, 8, and 8 guy, like, that's fine. That's great. That's a good thing for the Bulls. They did good then. The thing is, though, is that this season, even though he's playing well recently, he's still averaging under 14. That's just the thing. Bunch of numbers on the screen is playing Europe and Universals, and many enjoy it, including myself, or out of the park baseball, which is oddly strategic. Will make for the strat element. Yeah, I understand definitely where, like, the video game people love that sort of stuff. Hell, NBA 2K kind of did it all right. It's not perfect, which is the reason why I stopped playing NBA 2K. The trade rules aren't exactly perfect, but they had that sort of, like, you know, managing, like, GM stuff, which is good. But yeah, it's also, again, it's for a very niche audience. And so, like, yeah, the game that you talked about, like Europe Universals, how do you say it? Universalis. Is like, that's the sort of stuff that people would look at. Oh, game for cheap. I mean, look, I think what the Bulls have is a number in mind, and so, like, let's say, for example, let's say there's this situation that happens. Like, let's say Brooklyn doesn't offer Giddey anything, okay, which means that no other team's really gonna have a chance to really offer him anything significant. Giddey's, like, gonna keep holding out and, like, try to get a big contract, right? But there might be just a world where he just doesn't get anything. I do think the Bulls, though, have a number in mind where they think that this is, like, the proper amount, and they'll probably sign him to that. So even if, let's say, Giddey does kind of get, like, nothing in restricted free agency, then it's just like he probably still at least will get, like, $18 million no matter what. If it were up to me, though, I'm just like, go get a contract until you can't. That's the way that I would personally play it, because I don't think he's going to take the qualifying offer personally. I think that's a major risk for him to take. And so, with that being said, it's just like, okay, go and get an offer, and if he gets nothing, just continue to hold out. Just be like, hey, here's this deal, which is like on a very cheap side, like, I don't know, $16 million a season, right? Something like that. And just be like, here's this deal. It's on the table for you. It's here if you ever want it. And this, it's, or, you know, maybe it's 18. I mean, 18 would be great also. But let's just say, like, that's, like, the deal that you could just, like, be like, hey, here's the deal, and go and get a better offer if you can. And he can't get a better offer. He might just end up having to take that, right? And again, I do think he'll negotiate it to be, like, a 3-year deal instead of, like, a 5-year deal. But I think that's fine. Like, that's the way you should play this. However, I don't have faith in AK. I think AK is going to mess this up somehow and be like, no, I'm going to go ahead and just give Giddey a ton of money because we traded Alex Caruso for him, and he's going to be our guy moving forward. And they're not even going to let him play restricted free agency, which is going to be stupid as hell. But we'll see. I hope they don't mess it up. Let's hope the Nets mess up and give Cam Thomas something huge. Reminder, though, they're not going to give Cam Thomas anything huge until they spend the rest of their cap space. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. But they're going to spend the rest of their cap space before they even give Cam Thomas that contract. All right, because they have Cam Thomas's bird rights. So just to go over what I'm talking about here. Okay, when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets, Cam Thomas is going to be a restricted free agent. Okay, I do think that they're going to pay him because he's done pretty well. All right. So here's their current, and then here's their free agents. All right. So right now for the Brooklyn Nets, I wish I could. God, I wish I could like do work on this, but I know it's not possible. But basically, you would get rid of all these cap holds that would help you get a bunch of free or salary cap space. Okay. You're gonna keep this Cam Thomas cap hold because it's really cheap. All right. And this allows you to keep his bird rights and also still make him a restricted free agent. Obviously, give him the qualifying offer, which won't be that much, just $6 million. Okay, so I don't know what the number exactly would be, because again, like we're going off with like the $90 million projected, but that's if you get rid of all your cap holes here, which they're not going to. So I don't know. Let's just say they have $60 million to spend in free agency. Okay, so you're gonna keep obviously Cam Thomas's cap hold, but you're gonna spend that $60 million first. Okay, because they're allowed to spend all that money first on whoever they want to. Okay. And then they'll re-sign Cam Thomas, okay? Because they can re-sign Cam Thomas while being over the salary cap. So they could have no salary cap space, okay? And they'd be able to still re-sign Cam Thomas, all right? So the biggest thing is that we have to watch out for is what is Brooklyn going to spend their money on? Are they gonna get, you know, they're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna be calling teams and say, hey, we see you have a bad contract. We'll take your bad contract for a first-round pick. Like maybe they use their cap space that way, or they go and, you know, send like a humongous bag to Santi Aldama. Who knows, right? But we're have to watch them specifically because they're the only team right now that can give Giddey that big offer. So that's going to be the big thing to watch. I'll be interested to see what they do. Because then, reminder, like even after they do all that, okay, they can still re-sign Cam Thomas because they have his bird rights, right? So they don't have to worry about salary cap space when it comes to Cam Thomas at all. Like they can just re-sign him pretty much whenever they want to. Obviously, a luxury tax is a thing, but and they're not going to be in the luxury tax this year. But they can be over the salary cap and still re-sign Cam Thomas easily. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like it's not about necessarily about what Cam Thomas is going to get from Brooklyn. It's going to be about what does Brooklyn do with their money beforehand. Sorry, hold on, I need to get a tissue. All right. Is there a number you'd extend Kobe for, assuming you keep Josh and move Vooch this offseason? What's the date when him and I are extension eligible? Okay, so when it comes to Kobe and Io, okay, so the way this works is next season, pretty much like at the start of the off season, okay, first day of free agency for them, or actually I think even beforehand, like maybe right when the finals end, Kobe White and I would assume are extension eligible. Okay, now here's the thing for both these guys, they are extension eligible, but reminder how extensions work. Okay, extensions are based off of your previous contract. Okay, so the most amount of money you can offer is based off of their last year of their deal, which for Kobe, right, is going to be about, let's just say $12.9 million. Okay, which is this year, right? So it's unfortunately for the Bulls, they can't really offer him that much money in terms of the extension. That's the problem. Okay. Sorry. I might need to take a Benadryl here. That's gonna be the problem with Kobe, and why I'm like, I don't think you're gonna even be able to give him an extension. Like, I just don't think it's possible. Let me remind myself of the rules here. Oops, rumors. Okay. Okay. By the way, again, I'm not perfect with the CBA, so like I'm always consistently like doing this. Like I'm looking up rules, and I'm like trying to make sure like, okay, what was this rule from the new CBA, et cetera, et cetera. Like that's how I'm always doing this, right? I'm not perfect. I don't have everything in my head. I can't do that. 140% of the previous. Maximum salaries were 24. So yeah, this is the number that I thought was the case. Here's your. I'll have to look at what the. I forgot, the league is estimated. Yeah, okay, here it is. Yeah, the league's estimated salary is about 12 million. It goes up every year though. All right, so pretty much how this works for Kobe. Okay, so unfortunately we gotta bring out a calculator. So I hate to do this to y'all, but we're officially in it now. So when it comes to Kobe, okay, so we're gonna go off 140% of his previous year. Okay, so for Kobe and his extension, the way this is gonna work is that you're gonna take 12.9. Let's say 12.9. Okay, and you're gonna basically go times that by 140%. So 12.9, and this is giving him an extra little bit. Okay, and so we're gonna do times 1.4. Okay, so the most amount of money the Bulls can give Kobe White in his first year of a new extension is $18.06 million. Okay, and honestly, this is more than what he probably would actually get. Like, if we're going off actually like 12.8888 repeated, like would be a little bit less. So that's the limiter, right? If you're Kobe White and you've been a starter the past 2 seasons averaging 19 points per game, okay, there is no way in hell you are accepting this deal, right? If I'm the Bulls, I'm definitely offering it to him. I'm like, hey, you want to sign a 4-year, I don't know what the number would be with this. It'd be what? God, I can't do quick math. I'm so sorry. Yeah, $72 million. Yeah, you want a 4-year, $72 million deal? I'll gladly give that to you. You're just not going to accept that, right? If you're Kobe White, there's no way in hell you're accepting this deal, right? So that's the problem with Kobe White and his extension, okay? The most the Bulls can offer him with an extension is this much money for next season, okay? Before he hits unrestricted free agency. But obviously, if you're Kobe, you're like, well, I want to hit unrestricted free agency because I can get offered any money possible. Like, I can get the max, right? Which he won't get the max, but he can get a ton of money, right? So this is the reason why I'm saying that, like, I'm willing to bet, like, I know I don't have memberships up on this channel yet, but like I'm willing to bet like memberships. Like I'll gift memberships if Kobe accepts this contract extension. Because if you're Kobe, why would you accept this? Like there's no reason for you to accept this deal. Like you would, no matter what, unless it would suck kind of timing wise, but like unless you have like a catastrophic injury next season, like you should 1,000,000% go into unrestricted free agency and try to get as much money as possible. You have the ability to choose where you want to go, and I'm sure there's gonna be more money than maybe this. Actually, I don't know, honestly. The new CBA is weird, but either way, it's gonna be in your best interest to just go ahead and just go into unrestricted free agency, because you can threat the Bulls by saying, well, I'm gonna leave for this contending team for less money, and the Bulls are like, okay, we'll give you more money instead, right? That's how it's gonna work for Kobe. Hence why I've been saying I would personally just trade him. Like I was kind of saying like just trade him at the deadline, because it's gonna be in your best interest to get the most money you can in return for him before he hits inevitably unrestricted free agency. Like he's not gonna accept this extension. I'd be shocked if he does. If he accepts this extension, then I'm like, you need to fire his agent, because that's insane to me. So that's the problem with Kobe. If I'm willing to get definitely, if Kobe accepts that a 4-year or because remind it can only be 4 years. If he accepts a 4-year, $72 million deal or extension deal here, yeah, I'll gladly give that to him. I'll be very happy he accepts that. In terms of the free agency period, it's gonna be kind of up to what the rest of the kind of free agency period looks like. I don't think 2026 is a great free agency class either. The Bulls are gonna have a ton of money though, and I don't want to just like suddenly be like, oh, we're just gonna give Kobe a bag like right off the bat. Reminder, we have his bird rights, so like we don't really need to go ahead and just like give him like a big offer at the start of free agency. Like we can wait, but we do risk losing him, and he can just kind of sign wherever he wants to beforehand. So that's kind of the big thing. His cap hold isn't that big, so you could definitely work around it where it's like we clear out all this space, and then we try to, you know, re-sign Kobe once we use the rest of our money first. My number personally, it's kind of similar to where Giddey is right now. It's like, you know, ideally 20 million, maybe 22, 24. Once you get to the $25 million per year range, it's kind of scary. The thing is that Kobe has going for him though is just that I've been kind of adamant about this, is that he has other contracts to kind of point to and just be like, hey, I'm better than that player, so like I deserve more. Emmanuel Quickly, who I think is a pretty good comparison to Kobe White in terms of a starting caliber guard, he got a 5-year, $162 million deal. So he's making $32.5 million a season. And if you look at his stats, right, you can argue Kobe's been better recently. I mean, granted, Quickly he's barely played this year, but in terms of when he has played, when he started, it's like 17 points per game. It's, you know, similar shooting splits, similar assists and rebounds per game. It's like, well, Kobe's like, well, Quickly got that, then I deserve more, right? You know, another guy, unfortunately, that Kobe can kind of look at is like Jordan Poole. Definitely a little bit different players, right? But Jordan Poole, I mean, he got paid also. Like he got a pretty hefty amount of money. Here are his stats this year. You could argue Poole's been a little bit better, right? And then you look at his contract this year. I mean, he's making, you know, 29, 31, 34 million. Like that's what Kobe has going for him, right? So that's my scary thing. I'd be very, very scared overall with how Kobe's contract can suddenly inflate, because he has many other people to look towards. And reminder, the reason why we're talking about this is because he's gonna be an unrestricted free agent. Giddey's gonna be restricted. That's the reason why it's a different story. Like Giddey might have contracts to look at and be like, hey, like look at this guy, he got paid this much money. Jalen Suggs, for example. But the thing is, Giddey's restricted. So, you know, if you're the Bulls, it's just like, well, go ahead and try to get that, buddy. Like, we'll match it if you get it, but like, go ahead and try to get it. And most teams, because he's restricted, are not gonna be willing to offer that much money. So, I'll be interested to see what happens, though. I could be wrong, as I've said before. I could always be wrong here. Bunch of fans bitch about Sean Marks. I'll take him over as GM for Bulls well over 8K. Oh, I would definitely also do that. Yeah, for sure. And he acquired all the picks back. Like, yeah, they lost all their picks, but he got them back. So, how do you feel about incentivized contracts with bonuses for rewards / stats / playoffs, etc.? Can you go over that 18 annual average with incentives? I don't know how exactly that would work personally. I think you can if it's like an unlikely incentive to hit. So, like, for example, the Bulls didn't make the playoffs. Like, let's say the Bulls don't make the playoffs next season. Then, like, the incentive, like, hey, if you make the playoffs, you'll get this much more money. Then, yeah, I think they'd be able to actually do that. However, let's say if the incentive is a, hey, you need to go and average, like, 36% from three-point range on 8 attempts or whatever. And if Kobe did that, then that's a likely incentive. Therefore, they cannot do that, right? So I don't know. I don't know the full details on that. That's something, unfortunately, I'm not fully versed in. But I'll look into it for you, Navy Breeze. I'll definitely be interested to see. Because Kobe also, if you're not aware, Kobe has incentives on his current deal. People are not aware of this, actually, but Kobe actually has incentives on his actual deal right now. Like, Kobe signed a 3-year, a $33 million guaranteed deal, right? But, like, Kobe technically actually has incentives on his deal, where it's, like, it's unlikely incentives, but as you can see here, or yeah, it's unlikely, right? Like, he actually has an incentive where it's like, I don't know what's gonna trigger it, but he has an incentive for 1.33 million. So, okay, I don't know what triggers it, but that's basically why when Shams initially tweeted out the deal, like the initial tweet was 3 years, 40 million. Kobe obviously, like, it was a 3-year less than 40 million. 3 years, 36, right? But he has incentives to get up to 40 if possible. Like he could get up to 40, but they're unlikely. But because they're unlikely incentives, it does not count towards the cap, right? If there are likely incentives, like for example, if the incentive is to make the All-Star team and you made the All-Star team last year, then it counts towards the cap. The incentive is hit against the cap. If it's an unlikely incentive, it does not count towards the cap. So this 1.33 million here for Kobe does not count towards the cap. As you can see here, the cap hit, it does not include this, right? It's just as 12 million. So yeah, I'll look into that for you, AV Breeze. I'll look into see like if you can. Let's say you try to get the extension of like, all right, here's your 4-year, $72 million deal, but then you have unlikely incentives to get you up to like 120. Like, I'd be interested to see if that's possible. I don't know if it is. I'd be very interested to see though. Unfortunately, I don't think that's possible. I'll look. Pool's overpaid though. I don't know, honestly. I think there's an argument if Poole, like, you know, I think he can average like 23, 24. So there's an argument he's not really overpaid, but also it's a losing team situation, so not big of a deal. Poole should have been more than his role on Golden State as a bench scorer that can add in certain games to start. So in the year they won the championship, he was very good in the starting lineup that year. Like he was like a very solid like third scorer in the starting lineup. Excuse me. Honestly, he was like their second scorer for some of the year, right? I will say since then it's been definitely downhill, but that year though he was very, very good. Like he was a very good player that year. So, you know, we've seen a year at least where it's like, hey, you're on a championship caliber team, arguably being the second option. So, you're probably more likely the third, but you were like the second option for most of the season. You were then benched later on, but you still played a pretty significant role in that run. So, I do think that he can be a starter in this league, but he definitely needs to clean some stuff up. By the way, do you see Derrick Rose hinting at first pitch? I assume opening it for a second. I did not see that. I hope he does that. That'd be awesome to see. I'm excited for the White Sox season, honestly. I'm looking forward to baseball. His big head has him do stupid stuff too. Oh yeah. All-Star Kobe is unlikely to conference finals. Maybe. Oh yeah, like that would be unlikely incentives. And yeah, I would definitely see if I could do that. If Kobe, then obviously like, you know, if the incentive is like, hey, you get an extra $5 million this year if you make the All-Star team, like, yeah, I'd be definitely willing to throw that at him. But I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know how that works against the salary cap, or if you even allowed to offer that with the extension rules and stuff. So I'll have to look. I'll do my research into that. That's stuff I love looking for, actually. It takes a lot of research, but it's stuff that I love trying to figure out. I've done that a lot in terms of just like other things. I'm just looking up things. So I learn every year. That's part of the NBA process of this stuff, which I love. Yeah. I'm looking forward to opening day AV Breeze for White Sox. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I'm like heavily looking forward to it. Sean Burke got the opening day start, which is kind of crazy, but it's kind of cool. But I'm just kind of looking forward to just anything. Well, I saw the clip about getting a bag after the championship. I knew that Golden State were doomed. They're on, at least I saw that at the time. I mean, bro, Golden State messed up the Poole trade. Like, it's one thing to obviously give Poole the money and then trade him, but you shouldn't have traded for Chris Paul. That did not work out. So, unfortunately, that's how that worked out for them. They, yeah, didn't work out too great for them at the end of the day. All right, up. I'm gonna go to sleep. Also, I think I need to take some allergy meds because I'm having a really runny nose right now, and I do apologize for doing it on stream. Appreciate y'all checking in on the stream tonight. Thank you for a nice long stream. I know I missed the last stream. I do apologize about that. It's been a busy week for me though, so sorry about missing the last game. Bulls are back tomorrow. It's gonna be a shorter stream tomorrow, but I will be here. Bulls face the Kings tomorrow. We'll be at least seeing DeMar DeRozan, so we'll see at least one old friend. We'll see if Levine plays. I'm gonna guess he doesn't. Don't know what's happening though with him though. It's personal reasons. So I'll be interested to see what happens here. Kings have been up and down, so I don't know which Kings team we're gonna get. We could get a Kings team that's hitting every three and seems to be unstoppable, or we're gonna get the Kings team that can't hit a three and can't play any defense. So I honestly, this is like a major coin toss in terms of winning or losing this game for the Bulls. And if the Bulls hit their threes, obviously they can win against any opponent. So we'll see. I hope. I mean, if Giddey does play, I hope he's okay. Like I just I'm scared about playing him like this quickly in a back-to-back. I just, you know, fatigue is a thing. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but that's something I'm just like, bro, like, let's just be careful. I don't want you to get a bigger injury heading into the offseason here. So if he does play, I hope he's healthy and ready to play. Just don't risk anything, please. If you feel any sort of discomfort, just don't play. We have really nothing to lose, honestly, if you don't play, which will be fine. So we'll see who's available. Gonna be a fun one. It's just a reunion. Obviously, Kevin Hur is going back to Sacramento too, so that's a reunion tomorrow as well. So a lot of storylines. We'll see who comes out on top. I'm gonna guess the Kings win this one though. Bulls back-to-back games have just not been great this year. So but we'll see. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. If you have not already hit the like button on the stream, please do. Helps me out a ton. Also, once again, if you have not watched my video from today, I posted a video today breaking down salary cap stuff. So if you're interested in that, here's a link to the video. If anything, just please like the video. Like, if you don't want to watch, just like it. It helps me out a ton. Thank you guys so much for all the support this year, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Give me Grower for baseball. Yeah. Wait, what? All right. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Figure key player loves anime growing up, and it like the character. Yeah. I'm fortunately not an anime watcher, even though I am an Asian. I'm not an anime watcher. The only anime I've ever watched was Naruto, which is a very good anime. Yeah, I'm not an anime watcher. Today's best stamina, so fatigue definitely a thing. Again, just be careful. I get nervous. I got back-to-backs, coming off an injury. Yeah, also no Lonzo Ball update, by the way. So yeah. All right, appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all later. See y'all tomorrow. Peace out.